Welcome to the MC Report. We're off to a great start. Episode number 8. We haven't done this for a while. It's been 12 days because, we've been on Christmas break. We technically still are, but we found a way to insert it in. Featuring my bald head. I got a haircut. But there's a lot to go over. 88 slides. So we're going to start here. College football. We're going all the way back to like 2 weeks ago. That's for a lot of sports. Yeah, it was made a long time ago. But Memphis, who we both picked to win this game, got slacked. They got slacked. They're both 8-5 now.
Our picks bring up the fact that we don't have the records.
Oh yeah, we don't have the records this week. I didn't have enough time. My computer died, so yeah, that's a bit of a yikes. But I do. It's at my dad's. So, but Memphis just did not come out and play. I mean, 100 passing yards the entire game is pretty bad. So, yeah, not so good for the Tigers. But, it's what happens when you allow 31 for NC State. Keeping that, this is the best college football game all year. I don't even think it's really that close. Hawaii was down 20. I guess it was only 21-13. But they made it. It was 31-13. And they won. That's insane. I don't know how they did that. JKS, once again, played very well. I'm not pronouncing that name. Oh, he's a true freshman. He's really good as a true freshman. I think he's staying at Cal for his sophomore year, but I think he should transfer out of Cal if they don't do good next year. But I'm very impressed by Hawaii. Stop. But just a great win for Hawaii. Hawaii is now on 6 straight bowl games. Or 4. 4 or 6, one of the two. How do I know? You say, how do I know that?
How do you get that mixed up? How do you get 4 and 6?
Because there's another team in here somewhere that's won 4 straight. Oh, it's Eastern Carolina. So they've won 6 in a row. Hawaii's won 6 in a row. So good for them. Anyway, we get some playoff action now. We both picked Bama, and we were both right. I did not expect Bama to lose twice to Oklahoma, especially with Oklahoma just offensively not being that great. They did score 24, but Ty Simpson outplayed John, so yeah. But Bama, they face Indiana. We'll talk about it.
They went down 17-0 early.
I honestly just expected them after down 17-0. I think everybody did that they would just be screwed, and then the pick 6 just changed everything. I know they already had scored by then, but it changed the momentum of the game by far. And they were in Oklahoma, so that makes it a lot tougher. So a good win for Bama. They face Indiana on I think New Year's Day. So we stay in the playoffs. I picked Miami. I was right. This game was boring, just completely, utterly boring. Actually, yeah, for considering the camera probably didn't hear that. The first playoff game ever to be a shutout at halftime, and it was 3-0 entering the fourth, so that's something. I expected this to be high scoring. It was the exact opposite. Now, am I going to say Miami? I honestly think I'm not going to pick them. I'll be completely honest. I honestly think Miami can beat Ohio State. I don't think they will. It might be a blowout, but I think they do actually, if they play like this, I think they have a chance. Now, are they winning? No, but I think they have a chance. I don't think A&M would have had a chance. I think these two teams actually, I think Miami's a lot better. So, Carson Beck didn't play that. Neither quarterback played well, let's be real. But Beck just did enough, and that's what matters. I mean, you score 10 points and you win. That's because of your defense, not because of your offense. So, especially since, going back to this, I know we get a sneak peek. There was, I believe, 5 missed field goals. That's the most ever in a playoff game. So,
The guy who did the college game day kick might have been the best kicker.
he probably was, honestly. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I watched the entirety of this game. I think 4 out of the 5 kicks were not close. One of them was blocked. So, yeah, not good for kicking, but there was wind. You saw a sneak peek. Tulane stood no chance. Just no chance. Now, I'm a believer in the Power of 5 should get playoff bids. Considering what we had this year, they're not making a good case for it because this was really bad. I turned it off after the first quarter because I just knew that it wasn't going to end well. I turned it off after the first quarter because Tulane didn't start doing anything. Actually, Tulane had more total yards than Ole Miss in this game. But the thing is that they would get down to like the red zone or the 30, and then they'd like throw a pick or have a fumble. So, Yeah, you can't really do that against Ole Miss. So Ole Miss faces Georgia for the second time this year. So that will be a very good game. We'll talk about it. Don't let the score fool you. This game was also just not close. Now, the fact James Madison put 34 up, I do think is impressive. I think they played better than Tulane, despite being down technically more at the half. But Oregon is going to go to Texas Tech. That is the best game out of the semifinals. Or not the semifinals, the quarterfinals. Finals. So, good season for James Madison, because I was, at one point, I was hating on him. I do like... I'm not saying I hate James Madison. It's just, I would have rather had Boise State in there because I'm biased.
You think they would have done better or worse?
Boise, no, they would have done worse, 1,000%. Considering how we did against Washington, I think we would have lost. I think it would have been 102-3. So, yeah. So, anyway, I saw you had your hand raised. So, what was that about? Oh, yeah. If I had a James Madison Boise State game, I think that'd be a very good game. Because on paper, I think James Madison is, considering this, I think they're probably better. But I just think Maddox on a good day is better than James Madison entirely, like their defense. So I don't know. I mean they let up 51 to Oregon, technically 48 through three quarters. So if you're averaging 16 per quarter, it's not very good. So we switch from the Saturday before to the next Saturday. So this would have been like, when was this? Like 3 days ago? But oh, well, I guess you right. As we were talking about East Carolina, they're, I believe, fourth or sixth straight, whatever. But they've won a lot of bowl games. So I think Pitt was favored by 10.5 heading in, and then they lost. I think it's because they were playing at 10 in the morning. Why would you schedule that? Anyway, I think the entire game, East Carolina was just outplaying them. Because what would happen is that Pittsburgh would score, and then East Carolina, the very next play, would score. The thing is that East Carolina would drive down the field. Pittsburgh would just get like a one-play touchdown. So I think East Carolina played a lot better. Pitt, this game basically... I hate the fact that people say bowl games mean nothing. I think they mean a lot, especially for like draft potential. Yeah, besides that. But that's like people who are already like basically guaranteed to get into the NFL. But I think, honestly, this is also a true freshman, and Mason, Russian name. But I think he, as a true freshman, the pick wasn't that bad, so I won't blame it on him. But he definitely got outplayed by Chadston. So, good win for East Carolina. They just can't seem to lose a bowl game. So, good for them. Penn State, after starting, I think it was 3-6, or maybe 2-6. 3-6, won 4 straight to win a bowl game for the 5th straight year, or maybe 6th, one of the two. I think it was 5th. This game sucked through 3 quarters. It was just, I kid you not, and I can ask my friend this. As soon as I turned the Penn State game on for one play, Penn State scored a touchdown. It was the big touchdown play. So you're welcome, Penn State. Grunkemeyer played pretty well. Cade Klubnik did not play well. So I think that was the big difference. The fact that Klubnik was projected a top 3 pick at the beginning of the year, he's now projected like 6th round. So, yeah, that's... He kind of reminds me of like a Drew Aller situation. Anyway, Aaden just lost all emotion. But Penn State, their defense showed up like they always do, unless you're playing UCLA. I don't know why I'm firing at Penn State. I don't even dislike them. That was last time. I forget the score actually. I don't want to talk about it. But Clemson just did not show up to play for some reason. I'm fine with it. I would have rather seen Penn State win the Pop-Tart Bowl, baby. I didn't watch the whole game, actually. I think I watched only the 4th quarter. But I watched the best quarter, so who cares? Georgia Tech was looking good, through 3 quarters. But then Bear decided to take things into his own hands. So I think Haynes King probably outplayed him. They were about the length of a Pop-Tart, according to the announcer's own words, away for Georgia Tech to win this game because they were driving down the field, and it was, according to the announcer, as I said, the length of a Pop-Tart away from catching the game-winning touchdown. So it really wasn't. It was like this close. But Georgia Tech, they had, I believe they were like top 5 in the nation at some point, and they're finishing. they were definitely at least top 7. I remember that. So they heavy fall off, but BYU a good end to their season. Their 2 losses to Texas Tech, so both are Texas Tech. So I think that's honestly a good season still. No, they're not. But we move on. This game was really bad through 3 quarters. I watched the 4th quarter. For some reason, I check in on every 4th quarter of these games, and they just turn into masterpieces. So, North Texas, once again, their defense does not help their offense in the slightest. San Diego State, after being shafted out of the Mountain West Championship, decided to just put up 27 in the 4th quarter for literally no reason. They were down 49-20, and they did this. The only reason this game didn't go to overtime is because they missed a 2-pointer at the end of the game. The one time the defense got a stop. So, neither quarterback on paper did well. I will say Mestmaker played a lot better than Crum. So, that's a wild last name. But he should be in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Anyway, North Texas here finishing 12-2. Once again, a great season for a Power 5 team. But unlike Memphis, they actually showed up in their bowl game. I'm throwing shots at so many people today. I don't know. But good win for North Texas. This game sucked. I went to the 4th quarter of this one, and nothing happened. So, yeah, this game was awful. I still think, granted, Buprobola opted out, I think, or he was injured. One of the two. I don't know. But Virginia still sucks. I don't care that they won 13-7 against a backup quarterback. They suck. It's just not a good team. So, Chandler Morris, he is a true freshman, so he could get better. But I'm gonna be honest. I think both these teams suck. So. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I avoided this game. I watched all the other ones, and then this one at the very end. So I was avoiding that one because I was watching this game. This game was cinema. Can we get the absolute cinema? So LSU on the very first play of either the first half or the second half rushed it back for a touchdown. Actually, they may have done it twice. I forget, but. This is the one game, I think, in the entirety of the season for LSU where their defense did bad and their offense did good. Usually it's the other way around. I was a firm believer in Houston that they would make the playoffs as like that 12 seed. Now, they didn't do that, but they're going to finish ranked. So I feel like I was somewhat right in a way. So, especially beating, on paper, LSU, who is a very talented team. So, Connor Wegman, I was a big fan of him. He showed out. Michael Van Buren did very well. It's just LSU's defense this time couldn't get it done, which is shocking. Usually it's the other way around. So, sounds about right. They saw a running quarterback, just couldn't handle him again. So, Houston gets the win. This was a good game. Obviously not as good as the Hawaii game, but this was a nice game. We head into next week as I picked up the mic. Not the mic, the pen. But, yeah, it's a weird-looking mic, yeah. A lot of players are opting out of this one, but I still think it's very important because most of the starters are still playing. But this game is probably going to be, in terms of an unranked game, in terms of bowl games, the best game, besides the Hawaii game, because that was a crazy game. So, I think it's going to come down to Tennessee likes to pass, Illinois likes to run. Who's going to do better at their own respective thing? I'm going to pick the Volunteers. I don't know why. Whatever. But I think Tennessee on paper, it's fine. I think Tennessee is a lot better of a team talent-wise. I think it's going to come down to that, who has more talent. I think Tennessee, if Illinois wants to win this game, they're going to need to force turnovers. I can't speak today. But, Tennessee with a 67% chance to win. I just noticed that. I thought that'd be funny. But I'm not going to say the thing. But Tennessee, I think on paper is just a lot better of a team. Illinois, I think it's, featured 4 losses to teams inside the top 15 for both teams. So, obviously, they've had the short end of the stick when it comes to schedule. But what does Aaden have to say? Tennessee in the Fighting Alumni.
All right, I made my grand return. Merry Christmas to all of you people. Kolstin took one right. I'm going to take the other. I'm actually going to do something new here. I'm going to make my picks a different color. I'm going to make them red. So, you can clearly tell, unless you're red-black colorblind, which I don't think any of our 18 listeners are. So, I'm going to agree with Kolstin on this one. Give me the Volunteers from Tennessee. I really like how this Tennessee offense plays. They're favored. Now, the spread has come down. Do we know everybody that's opted out of this bowl game, Kolstin?
I do not, but I know that Illinois has more out.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to be another reason why this Tennessee team pulls off the win. It's going to be, if SEC wins this game, or if Tennessee wins this game, it'll be the SEC's first bowl victory of the entire season. And, people want to say the SEC is the best conference. The Big Ten's 5-0, so shut up. Got a great quarterback matchup between Hoover and Malava. Thank you. USC's opened, and I'm going to side with the spread once again. Give me the Trojans from USC. I just really like how this USC team plays. I feel like if they were to beat Michigan, I feel like they could honestly be in the college football playoffs. Our 16th ranked TCU, they just haven't impressed me. You only have 500. Your best rusher doesn't even have 600 yards on the season. That's less than 50 a game. That's not good. Both running games are bad. Kolstin, who do you have in this showdown?
Now, I put this on here because I think out of all the bowl games that could have an upset, I think TCU has the highest odds. You'll see the rest of the games. Because most of the other ones are either going to be really close games or they're going to be like, oh, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I think this is a game that TCU can realistically take because USC, I think it's NIL money-wise, is I think only a little bit over TCU. But considering TCU is a Christian school and everything. But I'm also still going to side with the Trojans. I don't know why mine's also red. But it's fine. But I'm also going to side with the Trojans. I think the Trojans, obviously, one's ranked, one's not. But I think TCU on a neutral field, the Alma Dome, which is a very cool stadium, I think USC is just a better team, flat out. If TCU can establish the run game, because I forget his name, it's not on here, but I believe he was injured for the first half of the year, so getting 550 is still, in my opinion, impressive. But USC, I think they're just a straight-up better team, so I think there's not really much you can do about that. This is the winner of the ACC getting the bowl game. I'm not picking Duke. I'm going to be real. I think Sam Levet, I don't know if he's going to opt out. I know Arizona State has more players opting out than Duke, but I think Duke is also just worse than Arizona State by a good bit. So, the spread disagrees, but the picker agrees, so who knows. But I think this will be a very good game. It might be low scoring because obviously both teams, bowl season, there's a lot of players opting out. This, I believe, has the most players opting out. But these two for Duke, this 1-2 punch, both are in. So if Duke needs to win this, they need to get some stops and score. I know, that's like basic football, but technically. Yeah. But I think Duke, if they want to win this game, score a lot and stop the opponent. Because Arizona State, despite being, unranked 8-4, they're one of the top offenses in the entirety of college football. But we'll see. What does Aaden have? The Sun Devils and the Blue Devils. A Devil showdown.
Yeah, as Kolstin trips over the garbage can, it's like Boise State's bowl game. For the first time in this YouTube video, I'm going to disagree with Kolstin. I really like this 1-2 punch, like Kolstin said. I feel like I just can't go up against an ACC champion. Now, yes, was it a pitiful championship? Absolutely. It was a joke. But, Arizona State, I don't think they have that punctuational win. I don't think they have that win that really sets them over the edge. No, they didn't beat Texas Tech, Kolstin. They might have, and I could be completely wrong. I don't follow a lot of Arizona State football. Not my cup of tea, perchance. But Arizona and SMU, another ACC versus Big 12 showdown in the San Diego Bowl. That's what we're going to call it because it's in San Diego. Ooh, this is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be a really good game. Arizona's a 3-point favorite. I'm going to have to agree with the spread again. I really like the Wildcats from Arizona. Now, Kolstin knows more about SMU than I do. I think we're equal on Arizona. We both watched 0 of their games. They're ranked. I'm going to go with the ranked team. I'm going to go with the favorite. Let's see who K-Dog's blog has in this SMU Wildcat showdown.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to come down to defense on this game because I think this game may end 42-45. Both these offenses, very good. Defenses, not so much. But in my personal opinion, I think SMU comes out with it. I think that Finya, I don't know. But I think Jennings is better than his first name's Noah. I'll call him Noah. I think Jennings is better than Noah, so I think that's what's I think it could come down to quarterback play as well. Who's going to get them down the field more? I think SMU will. I don't know who's opting out of this game. Maybe they're just opting out. I have no clue. But yeah, maybe this game's just a lie, but I think SMU on paper, talent-wise, I think it goes to Arizona, but I think when it comes down to it, the skill position players, the main players, I think SMU's better. So I'm going to give it to SMU to win this one. Then we got Vandy and Iowa in the Gorilla Quest Bowl. Iowa obviously has been a running team. Pavia needs to, obviously coming off trying to get the Heisman, is trying to, win this game, make him look better for maybe even the NFL draft. I don't know if he's going in yet. But I am going to take Vandy. I think Vandy's a much more talented team than Iowa, despite Iowa also being ranked. Because Iowa completely depends on, at least so far this season, they've depended on their run game to open up the pass attack. I don't think they're going to have that against Vandy because their run D is very good. So give me the Commodores to get 11 wins for the first time since like the 40s. I don't know, before World War II. So let's see what Aaden has. The Hawkeyes and the Commodores.
Yeah, Kolstin hit the Boise State Broncos for the second time in this video, the garbage can. I'm going to pick Vanderbilt. I'm going to agree with Kolstin on this one, but I'm not really going to talk about the game. How do you say his last name? I don't want to say it wrong. Pavia, thank you. What he did after the Heisman thing, I don't know if you saw it. It's a joke. NFL teams are not going to draft you just because of that. And I just don't know what to say about it. It's not a good look for the kid. You go out to a club and say, he said, quote unquote, censor warning, F the voters, when he was second in first place votes. So he said, F all 836 voters, including the ones that voted for him in first place. Now here we got another, this is second Big Ten SEC showdown. It is. This is in the Cheez-It Bowl. Boy, do I love Cheez-Its. New Year's Eve. This is, where's this at? Orlando. I'm going to go with Texas. I think Arch Manning has looked better than Bryce Underwood so far, just on pure experience. This is going to sound so stupid, and it might not really mean anything. But I don't feel like Michigan's going to do good in the warm weather. Now, yes, it's December. It's the last day of the year. Woo! Last day of the year. It's Florida. It's going to be 65 and balmy. Thank you, Kolstin. Thank you for correcting me on my 7-degree error. Please forgive me. Texas has played in the South all year. I really like Arch Manning, and I just think this Texas offense matches up really well with this Michigan defense. Michigan's really good at stopping the run. Texas is really good at throwing the ball. Kolstin, who do you have in this SEC Big Ten showdown?
For some reason, all the Big Ten and SEC schools just keep playing each other. I don't know why. But I think this game's going to come down to quarterback play. I think the defenses are about equal. The rushing game is about equal. Disregard the yards because he was injured half the year. On paper, I think Michigan's actually more talented, but I think Texas is just more explosive. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's a very nice circle. But Bryce Underwood, true freshman, I don't think he's going to beat Texas because Texas, nobody's opting out for Texas for some reason. I don't know why. But basically nobody's opting out. But Texas, obviously, I think also NIL money, I think Texas leads by a lot. So if that means anything to you. But the spread has only gotten more favored on Texas. So, and I don't think neither team is opting out a lot of people. So to get to double-digit wins, the Longhorns, in my opinion, are going to take it. And I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I don't think this will. If this is a high-scoring game, it means Michigan is not going to keep up. because when they win a game, it's low scoring, and they let the defense control the game. So Aaden has something to say, so we're going to give it back to him.
You can just stay up here, but I just like to say, let's both get in the frame. Texas beat Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure they did. The same Oklahoma team beat Michigan. I know it's kind of a stupid thing, but, you put 2 and 2 together, the Longhorns are going to get the win in the Cheez-It Bowl, and that brings us to the college football playoffs. Miami and Ohio State. I think this is going to be the worst game in the whole slate. I think the Buckeyes win by 20. I'm going to be straight up honest. If that Miami offense plays like how it played on Saturday, I'm going to call 911 and report a murder that happened down in Arlington, Texas. And Ryan Day was the lead. Oh my God, what's the word? No, not offensive coordinator. Criminal. The lead suspect for the murder cause against the Miami Hurricanes. If we saw the same game, you're gonna agree with me, Kolstin. But I think you already said your pick.
Behind the back give, but I kind of already alluded to it, but I will say it again. I think Miami can put up a fair fight with the Buckeyes. I think the spread can either be extremely right or extremely wrong. It's 9.5 in favor of the Buckeyes right now. I think that could be either extremely right and the Buckeyes win by 21 plus, or it could be extremely wrong and the Buckeyes win by 3. Either way, I'm still taking the Buckeyes. I think they're still much better than Miami, considering what I saw. But if Miami, defensive-wise, not offensive, they're going to need to clean up a lot of things offensively. If Miami does what they did in the defensive showdown between them and A&M, I think they can win this game. I don't think, obviously, Julian Sayin is a great quarterback, but who, besides Indiana, who has he really played? I think Miami is a very good defense. Well, Michigan is, I don't think they're great. Yeah, but I think this is going to be, once again, with Sayin, that's not really a good example either. But I think this is going to be a true test. Can you get past a great defense? Because we've seen multiple times. I mean, with Texas, with Michigan, with Indiana, these top-tier teams, he hasn't played bad per se, but he hasn't played like a great quarterback. Now, I think Beck's going to have a much harder task with the Buckeyes defense because, holy crap. Yeah, I mean, on paper, the Buckeyes should be decimating the Hurricanes. But this is also something big to talk about. Ryan Day taking over offensive play calling. He is 1-2 all time when he does this. The one win was against Penn State when they came back and won it like 2 years ago. The 2 losses, Indiana this year, and I think it was some Big Ten team. I completely forget. But I think it was Michigan. I think that you're right. But that is big because that could either mean Ryan Day is going to cook up the greatest things known to mankind, or the Buckeyes are scoring 3 points. So that's a big factor in this game. We stay with the playoffs. Now, I'm pretty sure I know who you're going to pick, but I'm going to differentiate from you. I think Oregon, I mean, obviously the Red Raiders had the most NIL money of any team, which I hate that, buying your team, but whatever. I think, obviously, Oregon is not innocent in this because I think they're top 5 in that as well. But, yeah, they're still not very great either. But I think on paper, I think Texas Tech, it's going to come down to Texas Tech's defense and Oregon's offense. And based off what I saw, I know it's James Madison, but based off what I saw, I think Oregon's offense heading into this game will have more, I guess, energy headed into this game. Because also, Texas Tech hasn't played in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. That's also, I think, a flaw of the college football playoff, in which case, I mean, obviously you get a bye, so that's nice, you get some rest, but I mean, you're not going to, yeah, you get some rest and you don't know what to expect. So I think this is probably the best game of the entirety of the slate. Obviously we got Ole Miss, Georgia, but I think this game is neutral site 5-4. So it's the closest in terms of ranking. I think it'll be the closest game. I agree with the 3-point spread. I think this would have been honestly worse for bettors because they wouldn't know who to pick. But I'm taking the Ducks. I think it also comes down to how Dante Moore plays. If he plays bad, Oregon has no chance. I think they don't have a good enough running game to win this game if Dante Moore plays bad. I think Texas Tech's offense isn't going to be the key problem here. I think they'll do enough. It's going to come down to, can Texas Tech's defense do enough, which so far this season they have been. So we'll see, though. I have a feeling I know who you're going to pick, but we'll see what Aaden picks, the Red Raiders and the Ducks.
You know, Kolstin, I told a white lie. Texas Tech's not winning this game because they're winning the whole damn tournament. Texas Tech is the most well-rounded team in college football. I mean, you saw how they decimated BYU, which will probably end as a top 10 team heading into next year, depending on all that. Kolstin shakes his head in disapproval. But you saw how they decimated them in both games. Like, fool me one time, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Shame on you for picking the Ducks in this game. I think this Texas Tech offense is going to need to step up against an Oregon defense that has looked good. But see, I feel like Dante Moore is inconsistent enough to where Jacob Rodriguez, who got robbed of going to New York, I think Jacob Rodriguez is going to have a big day and a big, big game. All right, Alabama and Indiana, the Hoosiers, are going to be the losers in this game. I really like Alabama, actually. I think 7 points is a joke. I think it should be 3 points the other way. I really like Alabama, and I really like the resiliency I saw. I think I don't want to say his name wrong because I don't want to say the boner. The head coach.
I just call him
Kalen D. I think DeBoer, yes, DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer is going – this is the biggest game of his career, I think, without a shadow of a doubt. I think Indiana is on too big of a high, if that makes sense. Their quarterback just won the Heisman. They just won the Big Ten championship. They're on a bye. Alabama, you could say Alabama shouldn't deserve to be here in this spot. People might be able to say Notre Dame should have been in over this team. They have absolutely nothing to lose, and that is the scariest time to verse a team, when they have nothing to lose. Give me the Crimson Tide over the who are you picking shirts.
All right, well, you didn't get rid of the ink, so I'll do it for you. I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to come down to, does Ty Simpson play well? I know a lot of quarterback things coming into the quarterfinals. I'm going to disagree. I think the Hoosiers are just, on paper, they should be getting decimated heading into the year, but they're 13-0. In my opinion, there's no reason to doubt them. They just beat the Buckeyes. And if Bama and the Buckeyes played, I don't think that game's close. So I think the Hoosiers right now are the team to beat. I mean, they're number one for a reason. So now, I think Bama, obviously, 7-point spread, I think, to me, makes sense. I think they easily have a chance to take this game. If Indiana does not start off hot and Bama does, Indiana's not doing what Bama did against Oklahoma. I'll be completely real. But I think Kurt Signetti, if they lose this game by more than, I think, 3 or 7 points, he's going to be shooting up everyone in that locker room. So we don't get monetization anyway. But I think Indiana, I also agree. I think Bama's a scary team with nothing to lose, but I think the Hoosiers, at least to some people, especially the Buckeyes fans, are still think there's a chip on their shoulder. They're 13-0. The only team they beat, in my personal opinion, that is really good is the Buckeyes. Nobody else has been really.
I say he hits that 30-yard field goal.
Yeah, it was.
I think Ohio State wins that game, though.
I think honestly, I probably agree, but I think just right now the Hoosiers, I can't put them down. I can't just pick Alabama off the top of my head. I just got to go with the number one team in the nation. So we'll see, though. Maybe Bama does shock the world a second time, because actually it'd be a third time because they made the playoffs. But still, I think this will be the second closest game. These two played earlier. It was a 7-point win for Georgia in a game where Ole Miss threw 3 picks. Now, I don't think Ole Miss – I agree with this right here. I don't agree with a lot of things ESPN says, but I think this is completely right, because Ole Miss threw 3 picks, lost by 7. If Ole Miss throws 1 pick in this game, they are losing. If they have 1 fumble, they are losing. If they commit no turnovers, they are winning. The thing is, I think they're going to I think they're going to cause a turnover at some point. I think Georgia's defense is 1,000 times better than their offense. As much as I love Gunnar Stockton, I think he's very good. I think it comes down to who's going to get the big turnover at the end of the game. I don't think it's going to be the turnover at the beginning of the game. I think it's going to have who has momentum in the late stages. And I think the Bulldogs, they always seem to have momentum at the end of the games. It doesn't matter what the score is. So I think Ole Miss, out of all the teams who could upset, I think Ole Miss has the highest chance to upset. But I just also think that Georgia is just, on paper, just so much of a better team than Ole Miss. Because Ole Miss is not even in, like, the top 15 in NIL money. I don't know why I keep bringing NIL money up, but I do hate NIL. I think it's very stupid. But I think this game is going to be very, very, very good. I think both the Oregon game and this game are going to be the top 2 games, and I think the other 2 are probably just going to be either mediocre or bad. So I think this could also be the closest game. Because in my personal opinion, we're going back to the Oregon game. If Oregon starts out hot, I don't think Texas Tech comes back. Now, if Ole Miss starts out hot, I think Georgia can come back. Same thing with the other way around. So Ole Miss obviously coming off a big win against Tulane. That's big for them. Georgia coming off the bye. We don't know how they're going to play. Maybe they'll start out slow. So give me Georgia. I think it's going to come down to the turnover margin. And 3 picks in the first game shows, on paper, Georgia's defense can get to Ole Miss, get the turnover. So it's going to come down to who gets that semifinal matchup, the Rebels and the Bulldogs. Who you got, Aaden?
This is going to be a great game here in the Caesar Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana. Who do I got in this game, Kolstin? I gave it away at the start of the video. Well, not at the start, but at the start of the picks. What color did I pick for my marker? I picked red because we're going to have a all-red Final Four. Texas Tech, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. We're going to have it's going to be all red. The final 3 games are going to have red seats all over the place. This Georgia defense is really good.
Not Ohio State.
Yeah, they are. They are the
There's Ohio State and then there's everyone.
Yes, and Georgia's leading that category of everybody else. I just, with Lane Kiffin's gone. This game's not going to be close in my personal opinion. I think the Bama game's going to be closer. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Georgia's going to pull away late. I wanted to say something and now I forget it. The winner of this game plays Ohio State. I'm not including Miami. No, I'm not including Miami. I think it's Georgia versus Ohio State would be. I think that's championship worthy. But the last time Ohio State played on New Year's Eve, yeah, I could have a college game day kicker kick better than that. But I believe that will conclude college football. But we have, I'd say, the game of the year. Kolstin, get to talking.
Again, behind the back. There's been so many good NFL games that I can't just mark this as the best game of the year. But I do agree this is easily top 3. The fact that Seattle scored 16, they had to get not 1, but 2 2-point conversions to even send it to overtime. I knew immediately then Seattle was winning this game. So I think Stafford outplayed Darnold. The thing is that, for once, also, the Rams' offense played well. Their defense did not. Usually the defense does just enough, and they didn't do that. And obviously, the Rams couldn't have known with the Rams scoring touchdown that Seattle would go for 2 to win it. They couldn't know that. But I think the Rams, looking back on it, they probably should have went for 2. It's just, but
You gotta go back to that 2-point conversion. The lateral.
yeah, that was just. I think, honestly, in terms of the ending of a game, this was the best game. I can't say that this was the best game of the entire season because there's just been so many that I can't just. Yeah, Buffalo-Baltimore was insane. But I think this game was very good, obviously. I lost my fantasy because of this, so I wasn't happy either. But we're going to move on. Philly. The only reason this is on here because usually I don't include games like where a 4-11 team plays. Philly won the division with this game. There's not much to note because Washington threw the ball 14 times. So good job, Philly. Yeah, that's all you really get. Yeah. We'll get to this with the Ravens game as well, but I'm just gonna say right now, I think Malik Willis is better than Jordan Love, and I don't want to say it's not close, but I honestly think it's like Love is here and Malik is here. Now that may be crazy to say because Love's already paid, you're not getting rid of him, but I think if Malik goes to just a QB needy team like the Arizona Cardinals, sorry Kyler Murray, you can play COD, but I think Malik Willis, if he just gets that shot, because I remember when Tennessee traded him, I was shocked. I thought they were going to stick with him. Obviously, they drafted Cam Ward. But I think they should have stuck with him. Yeah, because the Bears and the Ravens, I guess Ravens aren't that good, but the Bears' defense is, in my opinion, at least top 5 in the league, maybe top 3. And this doesn't look amazing because he came in like this. Yeah, but this is still, like, on paper. That's still a very good box score. Because imagine he plays the whole game. Let's double that stat line. That's better than Caleb Williams. Yeah. So, now this obviously, I'm saying Malik Willis is very good, but it's also a team sport. And Green Bay in the fourth quarter just did nothing of the sort. They just kind of gave up. I'm going to give it to the Packers fan. I did not watch the entirety of this game. I watched the fourth and the OTs, so... Yeah, Green Bay didn't look that good. So, from what I saw, they didn't look that good. We'll give it to Aaden.
I gotta limp my way across the stage here. If only I had a crutch right now. This game eerily reminded me of the 2014 NFC Championship game where there was an onside kick to Seattle. We were up by 10 at one point, and I'm pretty sure this was the exact same final score. I'm going to look that up after this game, but God, this game hurt.
We got outscored 19-3 to end the game.
We got outscored. I said we were going to win this game by 10, and with 2 minutes and 10, there was a time, I think there was like 3 minutes left. We were up 16-6, and we sacked Caleb Williams on 3rd and 20. I was thinking, all right, game's over. The North is ours. We control our own destiny. Now, obviously, Derrick Henry exists, but on that play, there was the face masks. I think that play killed us more than the Romeo Doubs failed onside kick. Now, yes, that was a pivotal play. Without them, I don't think Chicago wins that game at all. But as much as I hate to say it, Caleb Williams is really freaking good. This performance and the one on Sunday night, we'll talk about it. Just we had it. Now I'm gonna reference an old game. The game technically now 3 weeks ago. The one versus Denver. I think that game there was a play in the third quarter. Patrick Surtain picked off Jordan Love. And I'm going to call that, you know how Nick Wright, he's a Fox analyst, and he glazes, Patrick Mahomes. He had the tackle of the tide. Have you heard about that? I'll have to show you after. That play, that's the pick that killed the pack. Because after that next drive, Micah Parsons gets hurt. And then Evan Williams gets hurt in the same freaking play. Good for Chicago. They win the division. This game hurt. Technically, they won it a week later on Saturday. I'm actually gonna. Chargers look very good. Justin Herbert's all right.
Now I'm going to take over because I'm the Chargers fan, and I know my team better than anyone. At least I think so. No, well, maybe not that, but the Chargers heading into halftime, I'm telling you right now, I thought we were going to lose this game because there's always that one game where the Chargers put up 30 points and they lose the game still. I thought that was going to happen, and the defense put up a second-half shutout. I love it so much. So, Herbert, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. The offense, obviously, it's always pretty good if he gets just a little bit of time. And he did get a little bit of time. So, I think that was huge for us. They're 11-4. Dallas, you'll see later. I mean, they're eliminated from playoffs. So, I mean, I think honestly, Dallas wins that Green Bay game earlier in the year. They still have a chance, but Herbert, I still think he's better than Love by a good amount. I think he's better than Dak at this point. So he gets to win over the Cowboys in Dallas. This, in my opinion, is where the tide shifted in the NFC South. I think Tampa Bay if they win this game, I think they had the division on a silver platter, and I think they beat Miami, which we'll talk about. Carolina outplayed Baker Mayfield, got outplayed by Bryce Young, which is something I didn't believe I'd say heading into the year. But Carolina, 8-7, they get the win. Tampa Bay, I think has lost 6 of their last 7. Funny number. But I think Carolina, they came into this game at home. Nobody really expected them to win once again, and they still won. So I think that's very impressive, especially with Carolina, heading into the year. Even when they beat the Packers earlier in the year, I said they weren't going to be a playoff team. They're a win away from a playoff team. So that's very, very impressive. The one time, I have a friend who watches this. He's a Denver fan. The one time I pick your team, they lose. I'm going to pick Denver for the rest of the season. Anyway, Jacksonville looked great. They looked better than Denver. And I think, censor warning, I think a kick in the ass for Denver is exactly what they needed, and that's what they got. I think Jacksonville, if this game gets replayed in the playoffs, I still think Denver wins. But they needed to have this type of game in which they can't just fly by and then get into the playoffs, because then that's once again, censor warning, that's when you get kicked in the ass, is when you're not expecting it. So Jacksonville coming in, I think this is exactly what Denver needed. Now, obviously, you want to win the game, but this entire game, Jacksonville was kind of just in front. That's the only way I can explain it. I think Lawrence obviously played better than Bo Nix, but I think Jacksonville, it's just an impressive win on a season that Liam Cohen, who headed into the year, I said Jacksonville was like a 7 or 6 or 7 again, 6 or 7 win team. And they're 11-4, and they still have a chance at the 1 seed. So I think it's very impressive. But Jacksonville getting the win over the Broncos. This had the weirdest ending in the entirety of the season. If you don't know what happened, Amon-Ra St. Brown, on the last play of the game, caught it, was a yard short, pitched it back to Jared Goff, dived into the end zone and scored. Now you'd think the Lions would have won the game, but there's a holding call. And according to the rulebook, if there's a holding call in the last play of the game, you don't get another down. The game is over. And that's what eliminated Detroit from playoffs. Now, if the Lions, let's just say the Lions win this game. I genuinely think, Aaden's not here right now, he went to go get food. I think if the Lions win this game, I think they're beat Minnesota, and I think they're in. I think they're in the playoffs right now. And I think heading into Week 18, they would beat Chicago and make the playoffs. So I think Pittsburgh, this is the one game I think all year. Pittsburgh showed out, and they won the game based off their talent. I think Detroit could not stop the run. Obviously, their defensive depleted because they've had so many injuries. But I think Goff, he didn't really do much until the fourth quarter, and Pittsburgh was able to just answer in the fourth because this game was 12-10 heading into the fourth. And you'd think, Pittsburgh, once again, they would head into the fourth quarter and just stall out. And they didn't do that. Detroit, put up points, and Pittsburgh put up more points. And that's what matters. So I think through 3 quarters, once again, just a weird ending. But I think, it eliminated Detroit, and I think that's a big loss. So I have one thing to say about this game. I have one thing to say about this game. I don't care that Lamar got hurt. The fact that Derrick Henry, with 12 minutes left in the game after scoring his second touchdown, did not get a single handoff, a single catch, single target out of the entirety of the rest of the game is stupid. That is retarded. I think Harbaugh should I think that's fireable. I don't think he should be fired. I think it's a fireable offense because we saw what Derrick Henry did against Green Bay. He was very angry that game. But Baltimore had this game with 12 minutes left and then just decided to throw it away. Now, obviously, knowing what has happened now, it doesn't really matter. But if Baltimore had won this game, we wouldn't need a Week 18. So I think, once again, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Why would you not use Derrick Henry, in my opinion, the best running back in the league? It's just stupid. I'll never get over that. Also, Zay Flowers, once again, did too much at the end of the game. Shocking. I think also Tyler Huntley through the 2 weeks has played better than Lamar in the past 2 weeks that he's played. So, that goes without saying. I think Lamar is better than Tyler Huntley. I know, shocking statement. But, Lamar's not looked 100%. He hasn't looked 100% since, week 1. He's been injured the entire year. So, Baltimore, you should have won this game if Harbaugh had... I don't care if you're going on a rotation. Put Derrick Henry in. What is that logic? Sorry, I'm getting irritated. This was the game that Detroit got eliminated. It was a... Hurto was proud, and the Packers got not a Christmas miracle by any means, but a Christmas gift. Yeah. Max Brosmer did not outplay Jared Goff. He put up 51 yards and won the game. This is the one game, I think, the entirety of the year. The Lions' defense, despite 23 points, came to play, and the offense did not. Usually it's the other way around. We saw it at the Pittsburgh game. The fact you had 7 points heading into the fourth quarter against Minnesota. I do think Minnesota's defense is very good. I don't think it's 10 points against Detroit good. So, obviously, they're 8-8. I think if Minnesota just had quarterback play, like a Joe Burrow, anyway, or a Malik Willis, honestly, like a Malik Willis, I think if they just have a solid quarterback. Sorry, 9. I don't think you're any good anymore. Yeah. I think if they just have a solid quarterback, not even like a great one. I think if they have a solid quarterback, I think they're in the playoffs right now. That may be crazy, but Minnesota is now third in the division heading into Week 18. Detroit is dead last. It's 2015 all over again. So, Aaden has something to say. The Packers are in. What do you got?
First thing I would like to say, Skull. Yeah, this isn't really anything to point out, ooh, Lions lost, yippee. Max Brosmer played so bad. Nikola Jokic had more points on Christmas than he had passing yards. That is insane in my opinion. An NBA player who doesn't care. I'll talk about Jokic whenever the Sixers game comes up. I think he's the best player in a while in basketball. But I believe the Packers... Nope, I'm not. I'm jinxing. I'm jumping the gun. Brosmer sucks. Jokic is good. End of story.
All right, well, you kind of got a sneak peek on the next game. Once again, this is not really a game that's very big. I just would like to say that if Mahomes plays this game, I don't care if they're 6-10, the Chiefs win this game. Because Bo Nix played terrible. Sorry, Dale. I don't really care. I still think the Broncos, we talked about them earlier, I think I officially am calling them good, not great. Because, as I said earlier, they got a kick in the ass by Jacksonville. So, I said it 2 times already. I think that Denver, that loss to Jacksonville was exactly what they needed. I thought they would bounce back in a big way. They did not bounce back in a big way. So, the fact you won by 7 against Chris Oluwoken is not impressive, at all. Just literally not at all. So, I think Kansas City has nothing to play for. They're probably, knowing the Raiders, they'll screw up and beat the Chiefs in Week 18. So, we'll see, though. This game hurts my soul. This was such a winnable game, which irritates me because this game was Dicker the kicker missed 2 field goals, and he missed an extra point. We make those, this game is over, and we win. So, I think even with all of those misses, we still could have won this game. We had a drive at the end of the game to win the game, and we couldn't get it done. I think Houston's defense did just enough. I don't even think their defense played that well. I think we kicked ourselves in the foot too many times. I think if this game plays again, I still think this, because I was thinking this at the end of the game. If this game plays again and Dicker the kicker gets another chance, I think after that, it was at the end of the first half, Dicker the kicker, I'm going to call him that. I know his name's Cameron Dicker, whatever. He missed a 32-yard field goal. That is his first miss under 50 yards ever. Literally ever. And he's kicked 60 field goals. So, obviously, it's common practice. You should hit a 32-yarder. I honestly don't think it's his fault because we just rushed him onto the field with 10 seconds. He didn't even get a wind-up. He just kicked it. So, yeah, that was horrible. But, we were down 14-0, and we outscored them 16-6 and lost. It's just an irritating game because this was such a winnable game and we lost. I think besides the first quarter, we outplayed Houston in every fashion besides special teams. I think if we hit our kicks, this game is a win. So I dropped the pen. But yeah, this is a frustrating loss. I'm not gonna lie, because if we win this game, we have a chance at the 1 seed next week. So now we get to face. I think it's like we're the 6th seed now because Buffalo lost. They're the 7th seed, which is crazy to me. They may get New England in round 1. So yeah, this was just a frustrating loss. Now we get. I think it's Jacksonville, which I don't want Jacksonville, knowing what I saw against Denver. So, good win for them. I'll start because I feel like you're going to go on a tangent, so I feel like I'll start. Derrick Henry. I said this earlier. He's the best running back in the league, and it's not close. I don't care if Christian McCaffrey can catch passes. Derrick Henry can shove people to the ground that are grown men. I don't see Christian McCaffrey doing that anytime soon. I thought through 3 quarters, because I saw the Packers in the third, I thought they would come back and win this game. And then Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things. Once again, if you give Derrick Henry the ball, he's going to make you win. Thank God at least Harbaugh learned his lesson. At least he learned his lesson. So, Malik Willis outplayed Tyler Huntley. If Malik Willis does not get injured, I still think the Packers probably win this game, which is frustrating because, Clinton Tune came in, threw a pick immediately. Malik Willis probably came back outside the locker room, just saw Baltimore's offense on the field. He was probably just like, what? So, Derrick Henry is called the king for a reason because he's the best running back in the league. I don't care if he doesn't have the most rushing yards. He's the best running back in the league. It's not close. I'm going to give it to the Packers fan. I'm going to give you a censor warning right now because I think he's going to be mad. So I'm just going to let you talk. So we'll see. I'm going to get my markers, so I'll probably pop up at some point. So I'm going to give it to the Packers fan. Censor warning. Close your eyes. Blur your ears. Whatever.
Pretend this is a wheelchair because, we're so injured. I'm in a wheelchair. Do you get it? Derrick Henry's really good at football. This team, without injuries, I think hypothetically, we could be 12-3-1 and fighting for a 1 seed, because if we beat Denver, if we hold on to that lead, and Micah gets injured,
If you beat Denver, you beat Chicago.
absolutely. Malik Willis deserves to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And dare I say he'd be a damn good one.
I always thought he was good for
God. But I'm telling you, Baltimore, if they're good, they're good. But if they're bad, the Packers are so injured. Forget the skit. I could play defensive tackle right now for the Green Bay Packers. It's just this season was so good. We were 9-3-1 and up by 9 points against a 13-3 team right now. We blew the game. We got so injured. People say injuries always happen in the NFL. Not like that. Not where 25 of your 53 active roster members are on the injury report. That's rough. It's like San Francisco from last year. Yeah, and I mean, good on them. They're persevering. Now, they did have a very easy schedule. I'm not saying, excuses. They just beat Chicago, which was a great game. Is this? No. None of the NFC West South teams should make it.
Yeah, I'll continue on that thought. If Baker Mayfield doesn't throw 2 picks, actually, I'll just say right now, Quinn Ewers outplayed Baker Mayfield. That is not a sentence I thought I'd say in. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be saying that. The only reason he's in this game is because Tua sucked so much. So, Miami was just playing to be work. See, I thought this when they were like, I think it was like 4-8 or something. It was when they lost to Pittsburgh. I thought at that point they were like, all right, they're gonna tank. They're gonna want a good draft pick. Yeah, they're like 4-1 in the past 5 weeks. There's no reason for them to do this. They're eliminated from playoffs. They sat Tua and they're winning games. Now, granted, I think Tampa is probably the biggest fall off team because they were 6-1 at one point. So, Yeah, it was. We almost at one point we thought we'd have a Tampa Bay versus Colts Super Bowl. Neither of them are probably going to make the playoffs, if I'm being real. I think Baker Mayfield has crashed down to earth after starting so well. I think Baker Mayfield, oh my God, that was so long ago. But I think Quinn Ewers outplayed Baker Mayfield. I started Devon Achane in my fantasy league, my biggest fantasy league, and he did nothing. He didn't even get a touchdown. So, yeah, Quinn Ewers, game manager role, did more than, Baker Mayfield had more yards, completions, blah, blah, blah. But if you throw 2 picks against Miami, that's not good. So, Tampa, it's still a winner-take-all game because Carolina lost. But the fact you might get in at 8-9 is blasphemy. That's just terrible. I just hate that. That's,
Well, actually, Kolstin, give me mine.
no, boy. Aiden wants the mic. We're going to do, I don't know what the next game is, so we're going to stay on this. Don't skip to the next one.
I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a scenario where if Tampa Bay wins, they're not in. If Atlanta wins out, no, but that's the thing. Strength of victory. Carolina swept Atlanta. Atlanta and Tampa Bay split. And the Bucks and Panthers would split. But no matter what, Tampa Bay's rooting for LA. Now, I don't think Atlanta's going to win. But in a hypothetical world, that would be hilarious. Tampa Bay watching the Saints-Falcons game to see if they make the playoffs. That's pitiful. Kolstin, the next game, what I think it is, I want to talk.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's I don't know what game it is. I don't remember. So it is the game you were thinking of. I if we had a MC report at whatever time before this game, I would have picked Cleveland, and I would have been right. The standard is the standard. They're 9-8 and either missing the playoffs or going 9-8 and bounced in the first round. It's the standard. They can't win 10 games. It's not in the script. Yeah, it's the Pittsburgh way. If Harold Fannin doesn't catch the touchdown at the beginning of the game, which by the way was the only touchdown, Pittsburgh probably makes the playoffs because they just need to kick a field goal at the end. Actually, I guess they would have made it 6. No, they would have went to OT. So who knows? But despite the picks, I think Shador played better than Aaron Rodgers because Rodgers overthrew so many people in this game. It was unlike him. But Cleveland started out. I mean, the only points Pittsburgh got were field goals by Chris Boswell, which is it's not a good sign. I know Chris Boswell's pretty good, but you can't rely on him to win the game unless you kick like 7 field goals. So, Shador outplaying a 42-year-old Rodgers or something, 43, I forget. But Rodgers, not Pittsburgh. This is what I don't understand about Pittsburgh. They can play Detroit and play amazing. And through 3 quarters in that game, they look terrible. They play the fourth, they play amazing. They play Cleveland, and their offense is nowhere to be found. I don't understand that. I know Cleveland's defense is good. They aren't 6 points against Pittsburgh good. So, whatever. Aiden has something to say. I have a feeling I know what he's going to do. So, cringe warning.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's his time. I think Shador Sanders with this win, and I'm not just saying that because, I have the watch. It's perfect timing. I think Shador's now the future of the Browns. I think this cemented his future, though, Kolstin. I think this cemented the future that he has. Pittsburgh's. It's just I hope. I really hope Baltimore wins.
At least with Baltimore, it might be interesting, but Pittsburgh will not be interesting.
Well,
But they can beat Detroit completely fine, but they play Cleveland, and it's everything goes wrong.
absolutely.
I don't understand it.
This game was definitely a game that'll happen, and nobody will remember. Either everybody or nobody will remember it, depending on how Shador does next year.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted to do. Shador, perfect timing, Sanders, has arrived.
Shador has 4 picks, 8 touchdowns, or 8 picks, 4 touchdowns. Moving on. They got Phillip Rivers out of retirement just for them to still miss playoffs. By the way, I think he should go back into retirement. Anyway.
Well, he got 5 free years of insurance.
This is true. But the Jags still have a chance at the 1 seed. They play Houston next week, which Houston's probably going to sit people because they have nothing. They're locked into their seeding. So I'm pretty sure they're the 5 or the 6 seed. So actually, I don't think they're locked into their seeding, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty close. No, it's not. I don't think that's possible. I don't remember though. Although I would love a Houston Chargers game, the 3 and the 6. Ooh, wait, that'd be interesting. Anyway, I would love a rematch. But once again, the Colts. I mean, they started 7-1. Danny Dimes went down, and this team went to shit. It just completely fell off. Now I like Phillip Rivers. I need him to win next week for the seeding.
Is Daniel Jones with how big of his fall? Is he actually in the MVP race?
I honestly I don't think he's in the MVP race because obviously he got injured. But if he just played like the Colts at one point, I believe had a 98% chance to make the playoffs. If the Colts have won one game, they would have made the playoffs against a divisional opponent like the Houston or Jacksonville. If Danny Dimes plays this game, I think they win because Phillip Rivers, as much as I love Phillip as a Chargers fan, did not play that great. He wasn't the San Fran game good. Yeah, some people are mad about that. That makes sense. I love Phillip. He's 44. He's not chucking it 60 yards. But I don't think either quarterback played well. I think Lawrence outplayed Rivers because at least Lawrence had a rushing touchdown. I don't think Phillip can rush for a rushing touchdown from the 2. So, yeah, the Colts just a major fall off. Jacksonville still has a chance at the 1 seed. I said this earlier, and you're going to laugh. I thought they'd be like a 6 or 7 win team. But, I mean, they're 12 wins. Liam Cohen has completely switched out this team.
I think he should be coached.
He could. There's so many. Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, and Liam Cohen. I think they're the 3 front runners. But this was a great win for Jacksonville because they showed adversity because they weren't playing right through 3 quarters. And then the 4th quarter, a complete shutout. So, good win for Jacksonville. That's all I'm going to say. As I said, the Bucs have a chance, a winner-take-all game if Atlanta loses. Because Seattle, they want that 1 seed, obviously. They win next week. They get the 1 seed. Carolina, 8-8. I didn't think they'd win this game. Now, I did not expect Bryce Young to have 54 passing yards. Sam Darnold didn't play that great either. He had 54. He was pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. I think 40 of that came on the last drive of the game for Carolina, or maybe like the second to last, whatever it was. But neither quarterback played great. It's just Seattle's defense is so good that Bryce Young just couldn't really do anything. Yeah, I mean, NFC South is just not good. I think, honestly, Carolina right now is better than Tampa Bay, which if you were to tell me that when the Bucs were like 6-1, I would have said you lied straight to your face. So, but Seattle, big winner. The 1 seed could be theirs if they win next week. That is Saturday night. So that's like the Monday night version because there's no Monday night games. That's like the Monday night. So.
This isn't really a prediction or anything, nothing like that. I have a statement. Roger Goodell, if you ever see anything about this, listen to me on this. I have 2 suggestions about your NFL playoff format. Number 1, do not give the divisional winners a home game. The fact that Carolina or Tampa Bay is going to probably be hosting the Rams or Seattle or San Francisco. Pitiful. I don't think they should be hosting that. That's a joke. And number 2, I think you need to be 500 and make the playoffs. Because if Tampa Bay wins Saturday at 4:30, an 8-9 team is going to be in the playoffs. Exactly. Taylor Heineke was starting. That's probably one of my biggest problems with the NFL. That's bad.
Third behind the back. Yeah, it's a flawed system. I completely agree. But 1 seed up for grabs. I might be crazy to say this. I think this game sucked. I think this.
It wasn't good till the last drive.
Yeah, I thought this game just sucked. I'm not gonna lie.
This is one of those weird scenarios. Game terrible, great ending.
Yeah, this is wasn't a very good game. I know another a Bills fan watches this. Josh Allen sold the game. I'm going to be completely real. He even said it at the press conference. He said he missed his man. So you can't blame that on anyone but Josh. You could say that. But I think the Bills, in my personal opinion, should have kicked the extra point and went to overtime because Jalen Hurts didn't even have 50% completion percentage. And his one big pass was a deep bomb. Deep ball. I don't think it was A.J. Brown. I think it was Devonta Smith. But I think Josh Allen, despite the miss, I think he still outplayed Jalen Hurts. It's just that Philly's defense came to play like they did at multiple important games of the year. I think it does kind of remind me of the Green Bay game. I think, but I feel like this game was, in my opinion, better than the Green Bay game. Yeah, but yeah, but I think I'm gonna be honest. I was hating on Philly. I think they still have a chance to make it deep because they're winning these important games. It ain't pretty, but it doesn't matter if you're not pretty if you're winning these games. They beat Green Bay ugly. They beat Buffalo ugly. There was another team they beat. I think it was Tampa when they were good. Beat them ugly. It doesn't matter if you beat them ugly. If you're winning games, it doesn't matter. I think Philly, if they just play like this, they can beat anyone. And that may be crazy to say, but I honestly think they can. Because the NFC, I mean, the Bears can look ugly. We've seen it. Seattle, Sam Darnold, still a question mark. I will talk about it later. I don't know if you will. I'll talk about it. The Rams, we saw Carolina. They looked ugly. It's very possible that Philly, I don't think they will, personally. They could still probably make the Super Bowl if they play their cards right. If they get the right matchups. Now, am I saying that's going to happen? Probably not. I think there's multiple teams that are better than Philly on paper. But this team is still talented enough where they can make a Super Bowl run and go back-to-back. They beat L.A. earlier. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to be a win, and that's what they've been doing. It's the Philly way. This is game of the year. I think this is better than the Seattle game. The Seattle game had a better ending. This game went from 7-7 to 14-14 to 21-21 to 28-28 to 35-35. That has never happened ever. Never. That is insane. I also agree. I hate both of these teams. I like San Fran a bit more. I would have rather have seen San Fran win it, and they did. This is the game that made me realize Caleb Williams, if he just gets time in the pocket, I think if he gets time, this is kind of with the Justin Herbert thing. If Caleb Williams just gets a good amount of time in the pocket, I think he may be the best improviser in the league, which is somewhat crazy to say because you know there's still Patrick Mahomes and blah blah blah. There was I remember it. That. I think he was doing it on purpose, but I think Caleb Williams. If I would rather have Caleb Williams with time than Mahomes with time. That may be a crazy take, but I think Caleb Williams. We've seen multiple times in this game. It would be like a third down or a fourth down, and he would just get a little bit of time, and he would throw it deep, and it's an accurate ball. We saw it was one, I think it was first or second quarter, Luther Burden. In my opinion, pretty tight coverage, floated it over the defender. Perfect ball. Now, I do not like Caleb as a person, but if he plays like this may be also crazy to say, if he plays like this and they just get a little bit better around the edges, I think the Bears can easily be Super Bowl contenders next year. Easily. They could. I think, as Aaden said, I don't know if the camera caught it. I think Chicago can also be Super Bowl contenders this year. I don't think they'll make it. I think there's too many teams in that NFC. I think if they play San Fran again, I don't think they win. If they play like the Rams, I don't think they're going to win. But if Caleb just gets enough time, because even then, at the end of the game, they still had a chance to win this. It's just the defense literally got no stops the entire game. If Chicago, well, besides that was like a, yeah. 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 This was just kind of a game that if one team got a stop, and it was San Fran, they were going to win the game. And that's what they got. Actually, San Fran technically got 2 stops. But, yeah, this was just a great game. I think this was the best game of the entire year. So, Monday night, coming up next, Rams-Falcons. Now, for Tampa Bay's sake, they want the Rams to win. I'm not saying I want Tampa to make the playoffs, but this game is either going to end the Falcons win 20-14 or the Rams win 38-14. So, Bijan either way gets a touchdown. So, Um, the Rams are just, even without Devontae, just too talented of a team to lose. Now, this will be the second time they lose to a team that is, an NFC South team that's just not great. Obviously, we saw Carolina earlier in the year. But even heading into Atlanta, I think this Rams team is way too talented for Atlanta to keep up. I'm going to be honest. If Michael Penix was playing this game, I think the Falcons have a realistic chance of winning because Penix could throw for 350, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, and probably still win the game. But with Kirk Cousins, I don't see this being particularly close. So, give me the Rams. I think the Rams have like a 5% chance of getting the 1 seed. They're gonna need a lot of things to happen. I don't think they're getting the 1 seed because I'm picking something different later. But they need the Bears to lose, San Fran to win, and them to win both games. I think that's how it works. I forget. But or maybe it's like a tie in the Seattle game. I forget how it works. But we're not betting on that happening anyway. So the Rams, I think they're going to win this pretty comfortably. I think even without Devontae. Devontae might not be ready for Week 18. That's also something to note. McVay has said he will be ready for playoffs no matter what. So even yeah, so I honestly think the Rams, because they can't, I think they should sit Devontae, and if the game is like third quarter in the Cardinals game, it's not close, they should just sit everyone because they don't want people getting injured. Anyway, I'm going to give it to Aaden. Rams, Falcons, 6-9, 11-4.
Kolstin, remember like week 4, week 5, Buffalo traveled to Atlanta, and Buffalo won that game. Are you getting an eerily similar feeling?
I was getting that feeling. This just feels like that type of game.
It feels like that type of game. But I trust Matthew Stafford this year.
MVP, by the way.
Yeah, MVP. Well, Drake may had a really good game. No? All right. Well, Colston. I think the Rams are just too talented, like Colston said. By the way, I would like to congratulate me on winning the fantasy football championship. Unless Drake London has the greatest statistical game out of a wide receiver of all time, and even then, Bijan needs to do nothing. Congratulations to me. Congrats to me. I'm the best, I know.
I'm going to buy a ring.
No, I'm getting a trophy. I'll have to show you it. Whatever. I'm actually going to stick with the microphone because I can do that. Oh, what's the next game? I believe it's the NFC South. Yes, it is. It's the NFC South Showdown. I fought the smart board right there, and I nearly lost. Yeah, these two teams.
I'm betting on a tie.
Who do I trust more? I just trust Baker a little more. Yes, he slid, but I think it's going to come down. It's going to be like, I'm going to call it right now. It's going to be 20. That's a big two. 20-17. Baker's going to have the ball, and he's going to lead a game-winning drive. I just trust Baker more than Bryce Young. Now, I think Bryce Young next year, I think the NFC South is wide open, except the Saints. Atlanta's really talented. They're better than their record. I mean, these two teams.
I think the Falcons have a chance. I think they can win.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they win just
All right, here you go, Coles.
This is going to be, kind of a weird game in my personal opinion. I think this game is either going to be the biggest blowout of the entirety of the slate, or it's going to be, I don't know how to explain it other than it's just going to be like a high-scoring, it's either going to be a blowout or a high-scoring affair. That's what a shootout. That's the feel I'm getting. I'm going to give it to Tampa because they are at home, but, I mean, we've seen Tampa Bay has won so many games that have been talented, and they've also lost so many games they shouldn't have lost. They're just a weird team, I think, in my personal opinion. But when it comes down to it, I still trust Baker more than Bryce Young. I think it may come down to if the Bucs have a running game. Obviously, Bucky Irving is back. Our Lord and Savior is still back. So I think Tampa, on paper, should win this game. So I'm going to stick with them. Yeah, Tampa Bay. I mean, just on paper, they're such a more talented team, in my personal opinion. So, we'll see what happens. This is for the 1 seed. Seattle favored by 1.5. I'm just going to... I don't want to hear you. He doesn't want to hear my pick. I'll just talk about the game. I think this game will be either the best game of the year or the worst game of the year. And in my personal opinion, I'm going to talk quiet so Aaden doesn't hear me. I'm going to pick San Fran. Darnold in important games, in my personal opinion, has not been up to par. Obviously, he did beat the Rams on that Thursday night game. It was very impressive. But besides that, I believe that he's 1-4 in playoff games and for like the 1 seed in the division, those types of games. I think San Fran is just coming off of last year. I obviously think both these teams, obviously a lot to play for, but Seattle's going to need to start quick. I don't think Darnold will do that. So I'm going to take the Niners. So I think this game's going to be very good. But that's my pick. Aaden, give me 2 seconds. You can come back in now. I think this game will be very good. We're going to see what Aaden says. Maybe he agrees with me. Maybe he disagrees with me. But I think this game is going to be very good. Obviously for the 1 seed, most likely.
I forgot my pen. Can I borrow yours? Thank you. This may come as a surprise. Are you leaving the room or? It might be over. It's right there. I found it. I'm gonna be honest. This might come as a shock. I truly think Seattle's gonna win this game by 10+. I think Seattle's gonna win this game by 10+. I saw you pick San Fran. I just think yes, San Fran's really hot and they're at home. Road Warriors.
Yeah, the only loss they had was I was going to say the Rams.
No, they didn't.
They lost to the Rams. That's their only loss.
I just think Seattle is too talented defensively for the 49ers. I think if George Kittle plays, that definitely affects the odds.
I think he does play.
Hold on, let me just adjust you. There you go. There you go. Sorry about that. Pat McAfee's going crazy right here. Pointed this out in the pregame. I didn't even think of that. But I think Seattle is just too talented defensively. And I think Sam Darnold's going to have a really big game. Do I have to pick? I'm picking Minnesota. We have fucking Tung Sahor's quarterback. His brother's playing. Triple T's brother's going to play this game. We're going to lose by 30. Minnesota's going to help their draft pick. I think everybody in the NFC North goes 9-8. Goes above 500. There. You happy? Who do you have in this NFC North showdown?
Yeah, game of the century coming here. Clayton Tune versus Max Brosmer. But I think this game will suck. You should not watch this game. But I don't know if you heard me what I said about the Niners game. I think Darnold in important games is not good besides that one Rams game. He's like 1-5 all time. Obviously we saw at the end of the year last year, he crashed and burned. He lost the 1 seed. He lost the 1 seed in week 18 and lost his playoff game. Why does that sound so familiar? Anyway, it's not important to this game. I'm also taking Minnesota. I think they're going to ruin their draft.
I think that's the first time I picked against Green Bay.
I think it's like the second for me, maybe third. By the way, if the Ravens game and Packers game were to be picked, I would have picked Baltimore. Unrelated. I think that. I mean, the spread is 6.5 because Green Bay, according to Matt LaFleur, is literally sitting everyone because they're locked into the 7th seed. You can't change it. You're just locked in. So you're going to be probably playing Chicago or Philly. Most likely Chicago. I think you have better odds against Philly, but I think most likely you're going to be playing Chicago. I think that would be an electric game. I think that would be very good. Yeah, I think that would still be a good game, but I think both would be good. But I think Minnesota wins this pretty comfortably. I understand. I mean, obviously the predictor doesn't know Green Bay's sitting literally everyone. So, it's Clayton Tune versus Max Brosmer. So that's not going to be, a very big game. Colts in Houston. Houston is still able to win the division. The Colts brought Phillip Rivers out of retirement to throw the ball sometimes. I'm taking Houston. I think that Houston is a beatable team based off what I just saw. Now, obviously, they've won like 10 straight, so they're still. Yeah, they're still incredibly good. It's just that I think that they are a very beatable team from what I saw because they won it by 2 against the Raiders and beat us because we couldn't hit our kicks. So, Yeah, the Colts, they got nothing to play for. They're just playing so Jacksonville wins the division. But if Jacksonville wins, who cares? So, yeah, Houston's favored by 10 for a reason. They're not sitting anybody because they still have a chance at that division. They do not have a chance at the 1 seed, but they can get a home field advantage against either the Chargers, Bills, or that's it. It's Chargers or Bills, I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember. I think right now we're favored to face Jacksonville, so that's going to be an interesting one. Colts, Houston, what do you got?
Like I was talking to Kolstin, this might sound crazy, especially coming off the game against you guys. I think Houston is the favorite to come out of the AFC. I think it's going to be them and Denver, and I think Houston can very easily beat Denver. They only lost on a game-winning field goal in a game where their defense allowed 15 points. I truly think Houston is the best team in the AFC. I would not be shocked if they go to the Super Bowl. Sorry, I was reading something. We have a basketball game in like 5 minutes. I don't know. I'm like going. I don't know, Jim. Give me Houston. I think they're gonna win by 15 plus. I want to get my last. Can I do all my NFL picks and then go up to the game real quick? I'm gonna speed run this. Detroit, Chicago. I think Chicago's a lot more to play for than Detroit at home on Fox. Brady's gonna be there. Nothing to do with that, but I just think Chicago's a lot more to play for, and I think we will play at Chicago as a Green Bay fan. Next game, Denver going to secure the 1 seed. Once again, going with the home team. L.A. is sitting Justin Herbert. No, it came out officially. So I'm not batting against the second best defense in football. New England, they're also going to try. Miami has nothing to play for. No, they won't. Drake, May. Or like 6 of their last 7. This is going to be a good game. For what I saw yesterday, they give the ball to Derrick Henry, they will win this game. Simple as that. Why Rex Ryan says Ravens shouldn't care if Lamar misses week 18. Yeah, Derrick Henry, that's why you shouldn't care. Acrisure Stadium will definitely be rocking. Kolstin, what was the last game? Is there any more I'm missing? Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player of the 2020s. Oh, yep, whoops. I'm going to speedrun this. Give me the Sixers. I'm not going to give a reason because I want us to go see this basketball game. Give me the Sixers again. Next game, give me the Knicks at home. They need a bounce back. We beat them earlier. Then the last game, give me the Nuggets. They just look arguably unbeatable right now. I think the Nuggets and the Spurs are the 2 best teams. Penguins, they're going to lose every game. It's my prediction on record. Flyers are going to win. Are the Flyers going to win a game?
They had a couple. They had the Oilers.
They'll win against Vancouver. They're losing every other, and Calgary. They're losing every other one.
It's Penn State and Boise.
Penn State loses all their games. Boise State. Yeah. All the college basketball teams lose. Philadelphia wins 2 games. That's me for the MC report. Kolstin, wrap us up.
Now, I'm going to go through each slide, so I'm just going to go the whole way back. Aiden's going to go watch the game. You get to listen to me for like another hour, so don't worry. I'll be up. But I'll get to talk about all these games. Where are we at? We did Minnesota. We did Houston. So we are at Detroit. I think this game is going to be better than people think. Dan Campbell has went on record and said he's not benching anybody. I honestly think Detroit still takes it. Dan Campbell is just playing this game to see, why did I pick Detroit? Sorry, I'm stupid. I want Chicago to win. I think these Detroit players are going to be like, they're going to play to win, but they're not going to be like too invested in it or anything. Chicago has something to play for. Detroit doesn't. They're just playing to upset. I think it comes down to, I think Chicago can lose this game. I don't think they will. So, Chicago, I think they get the win. I'd say pretty comfortably. I think at least by 6. So Denver and the Chargers, I did not know Herbert was sitting. So that's going to impact my pick. I'm going to pick Denver. Originally, I was still going to pick Denver. But I thought it would have been a lot closer of a game because the Chargers technically have something to play for. They could play Baltimore or Pittsburgh still. They just need a lot of things to go their way. So, I agree. I think you should sit Herbert and play the rest. I think that's what you should do. But we'll see. I mean, maybe we just win this game without Herbert. I'd be shocked. But, I mean, Denver's favored by 7.5 for a reason because they're playing for the 1 seed and we are playing for funsies. So I think Denver, for the second straight week, I'm kind of hoping that I picked wrong. So we'll see what happens. Miami and New England, I hate to pick New England because I don't like them, but I think they come out with the win. Miami has won, I think it's 5 of their last 6 or 6 of their last 7. Funny number. But New England, they're winning games. I said this with Philly. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just need to win games, and that's what they're doing. I think Miami, Quinn Ewers has to play like he did last week, and Devon Achane needs to become God if they want to win this game. I think Miami can 1,000% win this game. I think there's a chance. I agree it should be like a 20% chance, like 1 out of 5. So, we'll see what happens there. Oh, boy. This is going to be an absolute blowout. Baltimore is going to win this. Pittsburgh will not put up 13+. I don't think. I think Baltimore, I agree with Rex Ryan. I don't agree with a lot of things he said because I don't really like him. But I think this caption is completely right. If Derrick Henry plays well, Baltimore wins this game. That's all they need. If we saw it because it was only Derrick Henry really that played well against Green Bay. Baltimore won it. I think if they do that again, they make the playoffs. Now, if Baltimore had won against New England, this wouldn't be needed. But, why not make everything difficult? So, the standard is the standard. They need to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs, or 10-7 and make it and get bounced in the first round. So, it's the Pittsburgh way. But Baltimore, they are a scary team if they make the playoffs at 9-8. I don't care if they're 9-8. The record means nothing if you make the playoffs, besides Tampa. But Baltimore, they just look a lot scarier than Pittsburgh. I don't care if Pittsburgh's at home. These two teams always split, and Pittsburgh took the first. Mathematically, should be Baltimore that wins. So I'm going to take Baltimore. They finished 9-8. We had the basketball action. Now, we are going to go back in time because I haven't been here in like 2 weeks. But the Sixers, a 9-point win over the Knicks, a very impressive win because I thought, the Knicks, in my opinion, obviously they won the cup coming out of it. I think they were a bit just gassed, and they didn't have enough in the tank, especially in this game. A win by 9 points, and we outscored them in the 8 and the 4th. Usually we lose the 4th. So Paul George, actually, he didn't do much, but he played well on defense. VJ Edgecombe did VJ Edgecombe things, but a great win for the Sixers. It doesn't last. Next up, once again, a great win. We dominated in the 4th. We shut down Cooper Flagg. That's why he's not right here. Maxey did Maxey things. He put up 38. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. But 7-point win against the Mavs. We do play the Mavs again. We'll talk about it. But a great win once again. As I said, it doesn't last because we lost to the Nets. Let me repeat that. We lost to the Nets. That's pitiful. This is the worst team in the entirety of the National NBA Association. How do you lose to the Nets, led by Michael Porter Jr. and Cameron Thomas? And I like those players. Maxey, shut down. That was the difference. If Maxey is not negative 19 and plus minus, we win this game. But we once again, at least we won the 4th. But those second and third quarters, oh boy, we just did not play well in them. Yeah, just not great play against the Nets. It's just sad. Then we just went to Chicago. We didn't play any better. You get to see more of the stats. This loss, in my personal opinion, is entirely on VJ Edgecombe. Now, he's a great young superstar, in my personal opinion. But you cannot have a negative 15 plus minus against the Chicago Bulls. You just can't because they're not that talented. They've been on a slide, and what do? Go to Chicago and lose. In this 4th quarter, we scored 17 points. That's pitiful. I could score more. But the Sixers on a slide, let me tell you, doesn't get any better. The Thunder, I don't care if they lost to Wembanyama. They're still really good. Nobody played well. I did not expect us to win this game anyway. So, yeah, the Sixers win. Or lose against the Thunder. It's a shocking revelation. At halftime, we were playing well, and then the second half happened. So, that's unfortunate. We had the next week's games. The Sixers against the Grizzlies. This is going to be a very good game. Aiden, I disagree with Aiden. He said earlier that this game was not going to be close. But Philly, on a 3-game slide, I think they get back to their winning ways. I think that if you shut down John Morant, this game is not that close. So, and they do have Memphis favored, I believe, which obviously makes sense. I think Memphis definitely has the skills to beat the Sixers, especially on a 3-game slide. But at some point, the Sixers need to bounce back. I think this is the game they do it. Next up, if I can hit the thing, we play the Dallas Mavericks. I was talking about it. We play them again. This game will be a lot closer than the first one. I know we only won by 7. This game may come down to the wire based off the fact that, A, Cooper Flagg is playing a lot better than he did, and B, the Mavs have just kind of been better at home than away by a lot. They're 9-9 at home. They're 12-21 overall. So if you do the math, they are 3-12 away. First of all, that's terrible. Second of all, they're home. So that's a bit scary. I'm still going to pick the Sixers. I think they're still a well-rounded team compared to the Mavs, who have Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis. That's about it. So, on paper, yes, we should win. We need Embiid. He's once again injured for the 30th time. But if he shows up in this game, I think we win. It comes down to Embiid. If we can stop the big man, I guess Cooper Flagg isn't really a big man, but if we can stop, I guess Anthony Davis. If we stop the big man, I think we win this game, and I think it'd be, at least pretty comfortably. So, next up, we got the Knicks. Now, I know we beat the Knicks the first time, but they're going to be looking for revenge, and they're so good at home. They have the best atmosphere, in my opinion, at home, especially at 15-2 at home. That's ridiculous, especially with how the Sixers have been playing. I know I just picked them to win 2 straight, but I don't think they're going to go into New York again and win. If they do, I'd be ecstatic, I'll be honest, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Brunson needs to have a big game. He hasn't had one, at least since the NBA Cup. So, Madison Square Garden's going to be rocking. I think they take it against the Sixers because this is a team that could win it all, realistically. They already won the Cup, which I don't think means much, but still, they can win it all. Jokic is the best player on the NBA, on the planet. Nobody's beating them on the Sixers team unless Embiid just shuts down Jokic, which is not happening. So, the fact that this predictor's that close is ridiculous. Jokic is averaging a triple-double. It's ridiculous. But if Maxey is hot and he puts like 50 up and we shut down Jokic, that's about the only way we win this game. But the Nuggets, I don't agree with Aaden when I say they look unbeatable. They look beatable. It's just they're going to lose to the really good teams. They're not going to lose to the Sixers team. Sorry, Sixers, unless you guys just start heating up, which I'd be fine with. So, we head to the NHL. There's a lot of NHL, by the way, so grab a seat. The Flyers, a 4-1 win over the Canadiens. Another game in which the Flyers should have won and won. It's just kind of their thing. Not much to talk about. They just outplayed the Canadiens. Simple as that. Good win. Next up, the Penguins. This was... I remember this game. I really thought, because it was 4-2 heading into the third period, and we made it 4-3, and it looked like all momentum was on our side, and Edmonton just freaking did Edmonton things. I think the Penguins' offense is good enough. I think the defense is awful. I don't think it's even completely on like Skinner or even Jari at that matter. I know we don't have Jari anymore. I think the defense was so bad that we couldn't have done anything, especially if we hadn't traded Jari. It comes down to the players more so than the goalie in terms of the Penguins. And right now, the defense is not there. You'll see later on. There's a lot of games like this, like with the Sharks and all that. But obviously, I mean, you score 4 goals on paper, you should win, and we did not. So obviously, some of it is on the goalie. I'm not saying Skinner is just completely innocent because 6 goals. I mean, realistically, even with our defense being absolutely atrocious, I think you should only allow maybe 3 goals. So still not a good look. We got shut out by the Senators, and we looked awful in this game. We looked unprepared. We looked Oh, man. This was just a bad game for the Penguins. And I don't even think the Senators are that good. Yeah, this was just an ugly one. That's the only other way to put it. This was worse than the Oilers game in terms of defense. It may be less goals, but the offense, I think, shot 32 times. Nothing went in. I think the Senators shot 23 or 22 times and 4 goals. That's really bad. The Senators were at our side the entire time. Just ugly game. I really thought the Flyers. See, there's always this thing with the Flyers. It's that there's always a game. I think it's like once every 2 weeks. It's a game they should win, like this game, and they don't. They just straight up don't. They play worse than the opponent. I think if this game got replayed, the Flyers would win, but they just get these kinds of games. They're just inconsistent. It's the best way to put it. The Flyers are inconsistent. The Sabres are also inconsistent, but in like a way, way worse way. So they go in slots. That's what they do. The Flyers just are like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. They're not inconsistent. They're consistently mid. So, yeah, Flyers lose a game they shouldn't have. Shocking stuff. Yeah, that's all I have. The Flyers, I said this last time. I thought this would be a fantastic game. I was right. I thought the Flyers up 4-2 heading into the third period would just win. I thought they'd do enough, and they didn't. I think this Rangers team has a lot of passion, a lot of fight. I think, honestly, if the Rangers just get a little bit better, I think they could win it all, and I don't even like the Rangers. So, actually, they're one of my least favorite teams. But I think they've got the talent despite the record. It's just they need to have games like this a lot more often. Because if you're down 4-2, on paper, you should lose. And they didn't. They won at home, which is rare because they suck at home for some reason. So, good win for the Rangers. I said this would be a great game. I was correct. I think I picked the Rangers as well. Once again, the Penguins just do nothing. Same I said with the last 4-0 game. Defense wasn't that great. Offense, we got up a ton of shots, but the defense played well. I believe we played the Canadiens twice, and we beat them at home. So, just a rough one. I was right. Now, this is my problem with the Penguins, is that if you lose 4-0 and you win 3-4 in a shootout, by the way, they finally won a shootout. That's not good, because I think, in my personal opinion, that means the other team probably played better than you combined in both games. Crosby played great. 2 shots, a goal, and an assist. It's fantastic. But Canadians, in my personal opinion, are not Stanley Cup contenders, and we're going to a shootout against them. Now, granted, this Penguins team is very young, besides like Crosby and Rust and everybody else, but I think this team needs to just get, I don't want to say get older, but they need to get more experienced, because they cannot be going to the playoffs even if you're playing like this, especially against the Canadians. So, once again, rough. And then they just go and lose to the Maple Leafs. I didn't think they'd win this game anyway, but, I mean, it was 2-3 headed into the third period. I believe we tied it 3-3, and then they just went on our show. Once again, the defense did not show up. I think 3 to 4 goals, you should win the game. 3, maybe not, but 4, most definitely. But you let up 6 goals. It's just not good. It's just fun fact, it's not good. So, rough one. The Blackhawks suck. We'll get that out of the way before I talk about this game. The Flyers were in control the entire game. I don't care if it was 2-1 heading into the third period. Yeah, the Blackhawks, in my personal opinion, I don't care about the record. They're the worst team in the entirety of the NHL from what I saw, because they don't look like they're confident. They don't look like they're fast. They just kind of look like a team that exists. They're like the Blue Jackets. They just exist. So, that got cemented when the Penguins put up 7 against them. This doesn't happen for the Penguins. You go up 4, you're supposed to choke Pittsburgh. And they didn't do that. Goes to show the Blackhawks suck. Anyway, yeah, it was 7-2 heading into the third period. I was just waiting for the choke to happen, and then they didn't choke. The defense didn't play well. Let's get something straight. 3 goals against the Blackhawks is not good. But the offense was electric in this game. It was so good. You score 7 goals through 2 periods, you'd be thinking you're Edmonton or the Hurricanes. So, yeah, good win for Pittsburgh. That's all I got to say. The Kraken, I gotta be honest. I did not think the Kraken. I thought they'd be like a mediocre team. And on paper, their record, they are a mediocre team. But the wins they're getting are just impressing me. Because this Flyers team tied it at 1. The Kraken just snapping their fingers, win it 4-1. I think that's very impressive, especially at home, because this team is basically brand new, and they're doing games like this, especially against a talented Flyers team. I just think it's impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Now, do I think the Kraken will win it all? Probably not. But they are a sleeper team. I think they're my biggest sleeper in the entirety of the NHL. I think it's very impressive. Very impressive stuff. We head to the next few games because we return in terms of school January 5th. So that's where all these games filter in. So besides college basketball, I didn't do that much for that. But Hurricanes, Penguins, I was just talking about the Hurricanes. They're natty contenders despite their record. I still think Pittsburgh can win all of these games. The thing is that they're not. They're losing all these games. So I think that it's just going to be very tough for Pittsburgh to get wins like this. Do I think they can do it? Yes, but I would not bet on it. So I think the Hurricanes, they'll stroll into Pittsburgh, get like a 4-2 win, and go about their merry way. So, because I think the Hurricanes are an insanely good team. Aaden said Vancouver would win. They're right, because, 5-2 in the first game, and that was 8 days ago. So, yeah, they're just not a very good team, the Canucks. They're just not. So, yeah, Trevor's going to have a field day with this team. So, that's about all I got. The Canucks are not that good. The Flyers are good. There's obviously, there's upsets in the NHL. This one, I bet not my family, but I would bet a good amount of money the Flyers get this one with ease. So, especially going into Vancouver. Then they go to the Flames. I don't think the Flames are that good either. They did beat the Flyers the first time, 2-1, but that was like one of the first games of the year. So, I think it's still very, very winnable for the Flames. But I think the Flyers, if they're hot, they're hot. And I think they'll win this game. Win 2 in a row. Just an impressive team compared to an unimpressive team. I think that's the best way to describe it. The Red Wings and Pittsburgh. This game, I actually this is the hardest game, I think, in my personal opinion, for me to pick. Because I think these two teams play the exact same. I think the Red Wings have a little bit better of a defense. I think Pittsburgh has a little bit better of an offense. So I think it's going to be very tough. These two teams play basically back-to-back. They play on January 1st and January 3rd. So they basically play back-to-back. I think what's going to happen, I think I'm going to pick both home teams. I'm going to give Pittsburgh the win. I know Pittsburgh's been on a slide, but despite the record, and I know Detroit's played a lot more games than Pittsburgh, I just think that I don't know how to explain it other than I just have a feeling that Pittsburgh's going to win this game. Same with Detroit. In Detroit, I think they're just going to win. There's no other way to put it. I think there's a very realistic chance one of them sweeps both, and it's not necessarily close. I would not be shocked if Detroit sweeps both. I would not be shocked if Pittsburgh sweeps both. So we'll see. Both the goalies allowing about 3 goals per game. I just think these are going to be good games. But as I said, I'm taking Detroit for the second one. I think both home teams get the win. I think the atmosphere of Pittsburgh, by the way, is better than Detroit. Now, I'm biased because I'm a Pittsburgh fan, but I think that, I've never been to a Red Wings game. Maybe their atmosphere is like the best in the NHL, and I just have no clue. But I think Pittsburgh has an electric atmosphere. If games go into overtime, the Red Wings win because our OT and shootouts, I think we've won 2 out of the entirety of all of them, so that's very bad. But, the Red Wings, 3 games have won to OT or a shootout, so that's not great. Well, it is great. It means you're losing in regulation, so whatever. Flyers in Edmonton, I did say the Flyers, when they're hot, they're really good. And the beginning of the year, 2-1 in overtime, Edmonton won this game. In my personal opinion, that was the best game of the entire year so far. I think, honestly, this is going to be a fantastic game. But when it comes down to it, I think the Flyers are just a little bit better. I know the Oilers won the first game, but that was so early in the season, we can't really dictate on what this game means. I think the goalies for the Flyers are just a little bit better. I think their shooting is just a little bit better. Now, Connor McDavid is the best NHL player in the league. It's, in my personal opinion, It's not even close. But he's in not most games. I think I'd say a fourth of the games. He's had to carry his team on his back to a win. You can't do that against the Flyers, in my personal opinion. You just can't. And I mean, he did mostly do it in that first game, but that was so early in the season. I think the Flyers have got a mentality. They know what they're going to do against a team like this. So we'll see. Does Edmonton sweep the Flyers because they only play twice? That's a shame because these two teams, I feel like this is a great setting. This would be a great series of games in like the playoffs or something. But I think this game will be very good. If Jari plays, expect 3 goals for the Flyers. So, yeah, I think this game will be fantastic. I think it's even better because it's in Edmonton. So, we'll see. Oilers Flyers, very good game. I was hating on the Blue Jackets earlier. I'm going to stick with that hate. I think Pittsburgh gets the win 5-4 and 4-3. Aaden's back. I think the Penguins get it over the Blue Jackets. They won last time in OT, but these two teams have played it close both times. A shootout in an OT game. So I think this will be a very good one. I think the Penguins are just better. I think even though the Blue Jackets have been playing better recently, I would just rather trust the Penguins than the Blue Jackets. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, according to Aaden, the game's a blowout. I'm not shocked. I knew Midwest is not a very good team. Yeah, they're not a very good team. So.
And can I repick my hotel picks? Because I rushed through that a little too.
Okay, well we can go back, but
Yeah.
It just hit halftime. Okay, what time is it? Does it not start at 7?
They started early. The games ended so early.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, ain't.
Up there was the end of the first quarter.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, we might not even get to see it, but I might not get to see it. You might. But Carolina, Pittsburgh. Here you got. There's a lot of games, by the way. I don't remember which one I was at, but we're a little bit.
Columbus.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Columbus. But Aiden's gonna do his picks, and then we'll get back into. You didn't even technically do all the NFL games. So do you want to do that or no?
I did.
I thought you did. Did you? I don't know. Whatever. Do that.
Well, sorry, this is all a little rushed. This is chopped. I'm still not going with Pittsburgh. They've won one of their last 9 games, I'm pretty sure. Kobe. And I think this team was viewed as a playoff team.
I still think they can.
Yeah, that's an understatement. They're 1.5 goal favorites. I think how the goalie played. If Bussy does well, I truly think he's 12-1-1. He's a great goalie. I think he played against Pittsburgh once already. Yeah, if as long as Anderson doesn't start, Carolina will get the win pretty easily, in my personal opinion. Pittsburgh's just been on one of the big. Did you see that? I erased it all, and I don't have to hit the X.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No. I'm old. Okay. Give me Philly. Zegras. Can't believe Anaheim traded him. He's really, really good. Yeah, he's young. He's really young. Yeah, not a whole lot of needing to go in depth. I like erasing now. I think Philly owns Canada in this mini Canada series.
They beat him last time.
Yeah, that was early November. This is last day of December. And we go to the slide, and Happy New Year! Man, Kolstin, I just thought of something. We're not going to do one of these till next year.
Yeah, I know. We're going to see you next year.
God. These two teams play twice in 3 days. The first, the second, the third. Where do you get 2? Yes, 1 plus 2. I'm going to go with Detroit. Detroit's looked very solid. Lucas Raymond. Probably, because I think they'll go into Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh. don't think they'll have any more problems at home. Big home field guy. We go to the Little Caesars Arena. Pizza is going to be what the Penguins are because they're going to get eaten alive, yes. Oh, poor Penguins. Edmonton. We were hyping up Zegers. McDavid has nearly doubles points.
This is the best game we've had in the NHL.
No, it's not. McDavid,
This is the Jokic of the NHL.
yes. Shows how good Jokic is. Edmonton wins it pretty easily.
I disagree. I think the Flyers. So I'll put what I picked. I picked the Flyers to win. So far this season for Edmonton, if they have won a game, well, actually, I wouldn't say every game, but I'd say 1/4 of the games, like I said last time. It's Connor McDavid does very well. If Connor McDavid does not get help, this team does not win pretty. We saw it with the very first game, 2-1 in OT. Connor McDavid was involved with both goals, an assist and a goal. So, I think the Flyers are more well-rounded. If Jari plays, expect 3 goals for the Flyers. So,
That guy's a fucking bomb.
okay, F-word bomb. I think the Flyers are just going to go into Edmonton and win. I think it's just simple as that. I think if McDavid gets shut down, this Oilers team is still good. Don't get me wrong, because they're still the Oilers for crying out loud. But they're still just not on the Flyers level if McDavid gets stopped. Now, if McDavid has a night, this is the best team in the entirety of the NHL. I don't think that's crazy to say because he's like the best player I've ever seen besides prime Sidney Crosby. So, yeah, I think the Flyers are just more actually, no, they're not more consistent. Definitely not. But I think that their team overall is more consistent than the Oilers. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. He's literally the Jokic of the NHL. I believe there's another one after the Blue Jackets, before the Blue Jackets, so you can... Oh, no, this is the Blue Jackets game. I wasn't done talking. You get to wait. I picked the Penguins. I think the Blue Jackets... I was hating on the Blue Jackets earlier. Both games went into OT or a shootout. This is one of the 2 Penguins wins that went into OT or a shootout, was against the Blue Jackets. I don't think the Blue Jackets are that good. If they lose this game, it proves the Penguins are also not that good. The fact that, I mean, both, let's get this straight. Both of these teams' defenses suck. They're terrible. Both these teams' offenses are either mediocre or really good on nights. The Penguins have showed it. The last game they played, they won 7-3. If the both games here, high-scoring affairs that went into shootout or an overtime. For some reason, these 2 teams just play each other incredibly well. It's going to come down to who gets the last goal. Shocking. But I think this game will be very good. Not as good as Flyers Edmonton, but I think this game will be very, very good. So, and here you got Columbus. And we're not talking about the Buckeyes and the Penguins.
I know, shocker. For once in this prediction, I'm going to pick my 100% beloved Pittsburgh Penguins. I just think Columbus is that bad. There's not. This is not a good win for Pittsburgh. I'm actually going to disagree. I'm going to say 2-1 Pittsburgh wins it in regulation. I think Pittsburgh scores 1 in the first, 1 in the third. Columbus also scores 1 in the third. We're at basketball. I'm going to redo my NFL picks, even though I want to go. I'll just say we'll go into more depth. Oh, I want to talk about the Sixers games. I'm hijacking the show now, Kolstin. You get to hear me talk for 20 minutes, which will be a lot more pleasant in your ears. I picked the Sixers. Let me just... Yes. You know me so well. I love smart boards. Don't you, Kolstin? Are you with me today? That's what I want to hear. I think the 76ers are just too well-rounded of a team. Yes, according to the predictor, Memphis is favored. That looks more like Memphis than it does Philly. Well, save it. Max is still averaging 30. diabolical. That's like a point per game. I just once again I think Philly's gonna do really well on this road trip. Cooper Flag. Yes, he's averaging 20. People were hyping him up like LeBron, and he's not living up to that hype. Yes, recently, but still, when you look at the overall, no. Well, I mean, to be fair, if you want to play like LeBron, you got to be averaging like 25, 10, and 12. Like I said earlier, I'm picking the Knicks. 15-2 at home. One of those is to the Sixers. I don't think 2 of the 3. If the Sixers do win this game, they lead the series. They won by 9 on the road. If they win this series, you could say this is like the San Antonio and OKC. A team that is not better than the team has beaten them twice. And am I wrong on saying 2 of them were on the road? One was neutral, one was home. I think 1-1-1. And, yeah, I think Philly in this stretch splits.
Yeah, Mr. Triple Double Manning losing to Tyrese Maxey.
I don't think you understand how crazy this is.
He should have got MVP last year.
I think Nikola Jokic could have the most MVPs. I don't either, but the last time an NBA player, I believe it's led the league in assists and rebounds, was Wilt Chamberlain, and he was averaging like 8 a game with plumbers. He's averaging 12, 11, and 30 against arguably some of the best players in this generation. Now, yes.
Like Bronny James.
Bro said Bronny. But this is a really tough stretch for the Sixers. So I think they dropped that. And where did I leave off? What was my last full pick?
You did the Minnesota one. I think you skipped on the Houston.
All right. More in depth. I'm gonna stick with my pick with Houston. I really like this defense, especially. Is Phillip Rivers even starting this game, or is it Richardson? Is it Phil? Like,
I have no clue. I would bet it'd be Rivers.
yeah. This is murder in a 3rd degree.
Rivers is gonna get hit once. He's gonna go back and retire.
If Rivers gets hurt, who's the starting quarterback?
Riley Leonard.
Oh, I forgot about him. Thought we were gonna have like a Josh Jacobs starting quarterback situation if he gets hurt, but no. I just think Houston's too well. They're too good of a team to lose this game.
Wasn't he still won the division?
They can still in the division. I picked Chicago. I'm gonna stick with Chicago.
I accidentally picked Detroit. I was gonna pick Detroit on Monday.
Did you pick Detroit or Chicago?
I accidentally picked Detroit.
No, you stupid. The line has flipped, which I think I said this a couple weeks ago. If you gamble on sports, you usually never see these flip. But since then, Detroit has been eliminated from playoff contention. Chicago can still, hypothetically.
If Detroit had the chance to make the playoffs, if they did this, I would pick Detroit.
Absolutely, and I think I would agree with you. Thank God for the Vikings. Stand in frame. I'm going to acknowledge you, Kolstin. Yeah, give me the Bears. They're gonna lose in the first round to us. Yeah, if we don't forfeit. No Herbert, no win.
I agree. I picked Denver.
If Herbert was starting, would you pick LA? Good boy. Next game. This is not a nice game. New England.
I think Miami can win this game if Rivers puts up 340 and 3 scores. That's the only
Well, yeah, I think anybody could beat any team if they put up 340, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
unless if you're Seattle or LA, apparently. Stafford did that in the last.
Now, this game I want to talk about more. This is the game that I really.
This is the big one.
This is the game. I said this the first time. Snail. I think Baltimore is going to win this game. Going back to my pick on the first time, I said I think the away team would win both matchups. I'm going to stick with that. So help me God if Derrick Henry does not get 30 carries this game against this piss-poor Pittsburgh defense.
If Baltimore misses the playoffs, I can talk about shooting fire.
A little. I can see why, but
You have this much talent and you go 8-9 and miss the playoffs. That's
well, yeah, but, yeah, that's pitiful. And no Monday night game. Sixers win. Sixers win. Sixers lose. Sixers lose. Sixers lose.
freaking Nets. How do you lose to the Nets?
Penguins suck. Hey, the Penguins won. Penguins suck. And we are back to college basketball. Me and Kolstin, we were watching this game. Nice game.
Now, I'm going to be honest. Louisville did not come to play like at all. I said this at the last MC report, which feels like a month ago. I said Louisville had to stay in this game and they had to stop Tennessee's 3 if they wanted to win. They did neither of those things. Tennessee was shooting at will. I mean, they scored 83, which is a lot for college basketball. But a great win for Tennessee, especially against almost a top 10 team in Louisville. And Louisville was hot heading into this game. Both these teams were hot. So a good win for Tennessee. And then Arkansas, who's on the exact opposite, they were hot, and then they lost 2 straight. This was the second loss. So I still think Houston is good, not great.
Championship winner right there.
Absolutely not. I think if Arkansas just played a little bit, I mean, you can see. If they played a little bit better in the first half, I think this game Arkansas would have won. But yeah. But I think Houston's defense did not come to play for once. Their offense did. So it's a good win for Houston. Don't get me wrong. Arkansas is a very good team. Yeah, I mean, it's still. I mean, if you put up you can see at least 5 players put up 8 points or more. Obviously, 3 of them put up double digits. If you put up, if you do that on paper, you should win every game. So, obviously, Houston. It's kind of not as much with Bama, which I think we'll talk about Bama. I'm not 100% sure. If we don't, I'll say it now. Bama's been putting, like, the toughest teams in the nation. Yeah. I don't know why the SEC schools, I think they're out to prove something because they put, like, the top teams on their schedule for no reason. But Houston kind of did the same, but a little bit lesser of a scale. So, still
It's working out. They're 11-1.
yeah. Auburn is not having the same affair. I didn't think this game would be this close. I didn't think the game would be close. I thought it'd be closer than this. Yeah, it was just not a great game for Auburn. No, they just didn't really play that well. Purdue was coming off the loss to Iowa State, who was one of the best teams in the nation. I still think Purdue is one of the best teams in the nation. Don't get me wrong, but they will not win it all. I would almost.
How many teams do you think realistically could win it all?
Iowa State, Arizona, Michigan, and maybe UConn. I don't know. Those are the big 3. No. Yes, totally. Boise State. But Purdue came into this game. They needed to bounce back. They got the bounce back. That's really. This game is the best college basketball game we'll see maybe all year. I don't know. Maybe the playoffs will have a 16 seed go down, and Purdue is the 1 seed. What? No. They were down 10.5, and this is why you never give up. Texas Tech, by the way. Texas Tech, just sports-wise this year, has just been fantastic. College football playoff berth. That too. But, you make the playoffs, and you get a bye, first of all, in college football playoffs, and you beat Duke, and you're 9-3. It's just impressive. I think this is really impressive. Because Texas Tech, heading into this year, I didn't even expect them to be top 25 in basketball and top, 10 in football. So, obviously, great for the program. They had 3 players almost put up 20. One of them put up a double-double. So, that helps. J.D. Toppin is also, one of the best players in the nation. So, that kind of helps. But DeBonsta did everything in his power to win this game. And his team just did not help him in the slightest. AJ DeMonster. But I think this proves how good DeMonster is because he was hard carrying this team like LeBron, and they lost by 1. That's incredibly impressive. I think Duke will not win it all because it's just DeMonster and everybody off the streets. So, yeah, Wilt's teammates. So, I think Texas. I mean, if this game gets played again in the playoffs, I still would pick Duke. But DeMonster's freaking insane. That's also they went into Duke.
Was it neutral?
No, it wasn't. It was in Duke. They went into Duke, and they won. That's insane. I know it's a different. I don't know what that is, but it was. Yeah, but this game usually I would not put a game like this on the schedule because it's an unranked team. But I would like to say this was also a fantastic game. I think the Buckeyes, if they just did not play, I mean the score doesn't dictate it, but they did not play that great in the first half. They shot like 37% or something. North Carolina shot like 40. It's not any better. But Caleb Wilson is also really good because he put 20 and 15 up. So, yeah. But he's a great inside the paint. He's okay at 3. He's not terrible. Actually, they had 2 people put up a double-double. You should be winning any game if you get 2 double-doubles. So, the Buckeyes are one of the most underrated teams in the entirety of college basketball. I think they might. I mean, there's so many teams that make March Madness, but obviously there's so many. Yeah, it is, I think, a possibility because the Buckeyes have to verse like Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue, all these teams. But North Carolina, 12th in the nation. I think they're a bit overrated because 1 point win against the Buckeyes, but I think it is the Buckeyes. I don't think they should be ranked by any means, but I think they're a very good squad, not great squad. So, close game. They didn't get the win. My cropping skills are off the charts. We got smacked by Nevada. Absolutely just taken out the back. It was bad. We got a double-double, but that was late in the game, so I don't really think that counts. Nobody really played that well besides Andrew Meadow. Yeah, this was just a bad game, just all around. Just not a good game for Boise, like at all. I think Nevada is, I mean, obviously, technically they're better than us, but I still think we could probably beat Nevada if we played this again. But this was just a bad night for Boise State basketball. It was just not a good night. Yeah, it's rough. It was a rough game. That's all there really is to say. Just not a good night for Boise basketball. Well, Penn State didn't fare much better. I think they played worse than Boise. So, I mean,
Put up 46 points.
Penn State at the half was Pittsburgh had doubled their score. I kid you not. Pittsburgh shot 50%. They shot 50% from 3, and they shot 50% from the free throw line. This is the 40 points. Yeah, that is the second time ever that's happened. Guess who did it the first time? Pittsburgh. They did it twice. It was like 1936 or something. I forget. But Josh Reed still sucks. I don't even know why he's on the floor. He was actually the best player for Penn State that day. But he's. I think Reed shot better, but Penn State did bounce back. But I mean, Pitt is not a very good squad, and you should not be losing by 34 against them. So. Yeah, that's a rough one. I didn't watch this game because I kind of thought it'd be a shellacking. I didn't think it'd be this bad of a shellacking, so I think I did pick Penn State. This game happened earlier today. I was watching it. The first half was ugly, and then the second half was elite. So, yeah, scoring 54 in one half, I don't care who you're playing, is impressive. He didn't score the most points, but if you put up 18 points in 22 minutes, I think you're the best player on the floor. And Eli Rice is a freshman, so I think he's pretty good. Josh Reed, the 3-4-5 stat line of doom, he's just, I don't even know why he's on the floor. Yeah, I mean, a game you should have won, and they go into Big Ten play, and they're 0-2 in Big Ten play, headed in. They should have beat Michigan State. But, Penn State gets a win they should have. Shocking. we head to next week. There's only going to be Boise and Penn State because there's only I think 4 games because I didn't want to. If we were to put all the college basketball games, we would be at like 105. There's a lot of them. But based off of what I saw last time, I'm not picking Boise. That was awful. That was atrocious what we did against Nevada. This may be worse because New Mexico is so much better than Nevada. It's not even close. This is either going to be a great win for Boise or an ugly, ugly game. So, Aiden's going to take the floor. If you pick Boise, you're stupid.
Yeah, well, good thing I'm not stupid. For now on, for the rest of the show, I'm in red, he's in blue, and we're going to not stand up here and erase it, half the time. So, you can see both of our picks up at the same time. We're going to try this out, see how it works, and, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're already above an hour at least. Boise State, if you lose to the Hawaii Pacific Sharks, I'm not picking you. I'm sorry, I'm not picking you. But, good on them. I'm not picking Penn State. They're god-awful. This is too much. 11%. We should be at 4.2% because our point guard is our highest rebounder. I could be a leading rebounder for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Anyway, Kolstin, what is your pick in this Big Ten showdown on January 3rd?
You've done that so many times. I should know. Now, I don't know why Penn State is like this. If they're at home, they are a different breed. We saw it against Michigan State. Now, if they're away, this is the worst team in the entirety of the FBS. So, that kind of happens. Maybe I'm just, passionate about this team. Actually, I don't know. Illinois' got a really good backcourt. Illinois is the tallest team out of the entirety of the FBS. So, that's kind of scary. Illinois, though, is very, very dependent on the 3. Penn State is very good at defending the 3. So I think it's going to come down to that. Maybe I'm just optimistic. I'm going to take the Nittany Lions. I think this game will end like 82-81. I think it's going to be really, really close.
Penn State scores 82. You could have mine.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to get this wrong. I would be shocked. But I just believe in this team, especially at home. Now, if this was away, there's no shot. Penn State loses by 40. But this is a game that Penn State just needs to win just to get some morale. Because even they played the freaking North Carolina Shark. I don't even know what they're called. I don't know what the team was that we played today. Oh, the Eagles. That's what it's called. Not Philadelphia. But they played that team, and they were terrible in the first half. But based off what I saw in the second half, if they play like they did in the second half with the rebounding, they can beat Illinois 1,000%. Now, if they play like they did in the first half, in which they got out-rebounded by 9, they're not beating nobody. I don't care who it is. So I think it comes down to that. It's very tough because, Penn State is 0-2 in conference play. But I don't think Illinois is – if they don't get the rebounds, they're not that impressive. So we staying with Penn State. This is completely different. This is no Illinois. This is a natty contender. I don't care. I said Michigan State was a natty contender. This game will end 140-40. This game will not be close. I don't care if Penn State's at home. This is a different breed of a team. Penn State's not ready for it. They get Michigan. They get Illinois, which I think is not that bad. Michigan and Purdue back to back to back. I'm telling you right now. That's a good question. But I guess we get it done with early. This game will not be close. It's gonna be. You should turn off your TV if you want to watch this game. Go to bed, man. Oh my God, this is gonna end so poorly. And the thing is that this is not. I mean, the Penn State has like Nebraska, Michigan. They should have been Michigan State. I said this. I think Michigan is the best. You could argue they're the best team in the entirety of the nation. They're not beating the best team in the entirety of the nation. So, I'm giving it to Michigan. Aiden's got a pucker face, so we'll see what happens.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Penn State Nittany Lions are at home. You can go see one of the best teams in the nation, for $15. That is a steal, in my opinion. But you know what you're going to see them do? You're going to see them lose to the Penn State Nittany Lions, is what I would say if I was a drunk homeless man at 35 living on the street. Give me the Wolverines. I kid you not. You know, sometimes how we say, oh, Penn State's going to lose by 50. They genuinely might.
Oh, they're not might. They will.
And you know what the scary part is? Kolstin was hyping up this team. They're home. You hyped up this team. This is one of the best home teams in the Big Ten when you think about it. No, they're killing them. This should be. I'm gonna call the State College Police Department and ask for extra security on the murderer that's gonna happen on January 6th. I heard that one before. Last game, I'm gonna pick San Diego State, just because I don't think Boise State's good at all. Kolstin, get the thin marker. I don't know why I drew my circle so big. Happens on January 3rd. Nice. Both of these teams suck. This is the toilet bowl.
I would like to switch a pick. We're not going that far back. We're going a couple slides back. Not that game, wrong game. I would like to switch this one to Boise. Why? I forgot we were doing the San Diego State game. We'll talk about it. If we win this game, I think we have a chance of winning against San Diego State. I'm picking Boise in this one. Blah, blah, blah. We're winning the Natty. Last slide.
I'd like to point out.
Wait, no, wrong team.
I'd like to point out 35 seconds ago, or like 5 minutes ago, you said if Boise State, you're stupid.
All right, I changed my mind. New Mexico is, obviously they're 10-2, but I looked at their schedule. They played like the San Jose Sharks like 6 times. So obviously we lost to them. But San Diego was at least played somebody. They played Michigan. Now they lost by 50. But at least they played somebody. New Mexico's played nobody. So in my mind, I think we should beat New Mexico. I think they were. That's also half why I'm picking them, because at least they have some sort of relevancy. Now, I'm also picking this because Boise's at home for the other one, and they're not home here. And they were in Nevada when we lost. So, the last game, 88 slides. But I think San Diego State is going to win it at home. I know I'm a big fan. If I don't know who to pick, I pick the home team for the atmosphere. There's no atmosphere in Mountain West games. You just go with your heart. But, yeah, I think Boise. If they win against New Mexico.
That game cost $50. But the
Penn State Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this game will be necessarily close. Neither the New Mexico or this game. Neither of them is going to be close. It's just going to depend on if Boise plays well against New Mexico. But that'll do it. We would have more because, college basketball, but there's, that's it. So, or did you do the San Diego State game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. So, no, you did. You did. That'll do it. 88 slides. We would do the records, but A, I forgot it, and B, we didn't technically do all the basketball games. We'll do that next time.
I would like to say something.
Okay.
Kolstin's not going to like this.
Oh, boy.
But I'm going to hijack the slides for one thing. You're not going to talk about it, so you won't know what's going to go on. But January 3rd, on Peacock, the PDC World Darts Championship final is on, and I am adding it on the slideshow, and I will be talking about the match. I love darts. It's my second favorite sport right now to watch. Kolstin is in shambles over. Kolstin is in shambles over. I'm adding it on because I'm gonna be watching it, and it's my second favorite sport to watch. God, Kolstin's so mad. I don't care. It's not boring. Kolstin just did his best dart impersonation. But I'm adding it. I don't care what you say. Right now, if I had to give a pick, I'm going Luke the Nuke Littler. Kolstin has no idea who that is. He just got done playing today. He averaged 107. He won 4 sets to 2 over Rob Cross. I think he'll play Michael Van Gerwen in the finals. I think if Van Gerwen can beat Anderson tomorrow and he can get through Humphreys, I think he's got a real shot. He wants a rematch of last year. He lost in the finals, I think 7 sets to 3. He's a 3-time world champion. But yeah, that's a little bit of darts. We'll talk about it more January 5th, because I'm assuming we're gonna do it. The 6th or the 7th. Kolstin, final words.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it off here. This one's gonna be a long one. If you watch it the whole way through, good on you. Probably half of you will be asleep because I've heard people watch it in their sleep. So at least I get the viewership. That'll do it. 88 slides. I believe if we're gonna, I almost dropped the mic. If we do one on the 5th or 6th, it's gonna be a lot shorter. It's gonna be like 30 slides because because it's obviously a lot of the games we already did, but I just need to put the scores, and that's not gonna take that long. So, 88 slides. I think this lasted like 2 hours.
We started at 5:30.
Oh my lord, we're making full-time movies here. Anyway, that'll do it. 88 slides, 2 people. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I didn't know that was coming. I'm so stupid. But I'm gonna if it's playing still, I'm gonna go watch Mifflin County basketball.
It's probably over.
And we'll see though. I'm Kolstin Diven.
I'm Aaden Stevens.
I don't think he heard you, but that's Aaden Stevens. That'll do it. The MC Report, episode 8. See ya.